Шановні друзі, вітаємо вас в цей святковий вечір в прямому етері на офіційному ютуб-каналі КЦА ФАУ. Сьогодні Україна відзначає 32-гу річницю незалежності України. Відзначити це свято на гоночному віртуальному треку разом з українськими сімрейсерами будуть представники ще 12 країн. Зустрічайте! Норвегія, Південно-Африканська Республіка, Велика Британія, Швеція, Грузія, Ісландія, Німеччина, Данія, Марокко, Сполучені Штати Америки, Нігерія та Іспанія. Після кваліфікаційних заїздів, які відбулися 18 серпня в 4 залікових групах, пілотів розподілено на 3 стартові групи. Участь в перегонах приймуть лише 45 спортсменів з понад 60 тих, хто подав свої заявки на участь. Кожна група стартуватиме одна за одною. Розклад такий. Група 1 о 20-й, група 2 о 21-й, група 3 о 22-й. Пілоти матимуть 5 хвилин, щоб доєднатися до лобі. Таке прохання до учасників перегонів. Не спізнюватися, але й не заходити раніше свого часу. Мій колега Георгій буде координувати процес. Зараз я представлю нашу команду організаторів. Режисер трансляції Іван Кічук, координує пілотів та коментує перший заїзд Георгій Пачуашвілі. І коментує він разом з Павлом Воробйовим. На другому та третьому заїздах до нас приєднається коментатор вебу з Великої Британії. А зараз я привітаю наших іноземних гостей, тому переходжу на англійську мову. Dear friends, welcome to the official YouTube channel of the Digital Autosport Commission of Ukraine. I am Irina Kravets, chairman of the commission. Today, on August 24th, Ukraine celebrates its 32nd Independence Day. We organized the race and invited friends of Ukraine to celebrate this holiday with us. Pilots from 30 countries today are on the grid. Norway, South Africa, United Kingdom, Sweden, Georgia, Iceland, Germany, Denmark, Morocco, United States, Nigeria, and Spain. Welcome to Ukraine, our dear friends, pilots, and spectators. Last week we held 4 qualifying races. Formation qualify was 54 drivers, but only 45 drivers have a part in the race. The 3 groups of 15 drivers will be on the grid. Each group will ride after each other. So we have the timing for each group. Group 1 at 17 UTC, Group 2 at 18, Group 3 at 19 UTC. Pilots have 5 minutes to join to the lobby. If someone doesn't join in time, race will be started without latest cameras pilots. Please don't join earlier than you should. We have 1 lobby for each group. My colleague Georgi will text you in Discord when you can join to the lobby. And now I represent our team. Producers Ivan Kichuk and Georgi Pachashvili. For the second race, our commentator from United Kingdom, Webo, will join us from United Kingdom. And now I introduce our professional Ukrainian commentators for the first race. Meet Pavlo Vorobyov and Georgi Pachashvili. And now let's listen to the anthem of Ukraine.
Вітаю, друзі! Скоро ми вже починаємо. Це у нас третя група пілотів. Як бачимо, не всі пілоти вийшли на старт. Не знаю, через які саме причини. Скоро починається кваліфікація 10-хвилинна, яка вирішить, хто з якої позиції буде стартувати. І після кваліфікації гонка на 12 кіл. Сьогодні ми починаємо вдвох з Павлом. Будемо коментувати українською перший раунд, і потім до нас приєднається Веба з Великої Британії. І другий та перша група вже будуть прокоментовані також англійською. Бачимо початок сесії кваліфікації. Не всі пілоти чомусь виїжджають саме на стартах. Всі виїхали дуже щільно. Ага. Так, да. Пілот з ЮАР почав цю сесію перший. Далі пілот Норвегії їде за ним. Далі наш пілот Макаренко. Всі тримаються дуже поряд. Не знаю, наскільки це гарна ідея. Знов таки 10 хвилин, да, треба їхати. Не треба чекати, бо не вистачить часу. Плюс-мінус є 2 кола на залік. Перше коло в нас як прогрівочне, воно не йде в залік кваліфікації. Тож побачимо. Виносить норвежця. Ай-яй-яй. Без інцидентів. Так, система повернула пілота назад на трасу.
Не найкраще, скажімо так, для Тронда Арне Марволда.
Так, згоден.
Що ж, спробуємо потрошки адаптуватися разом із гонщиками. Що ж, я сподіваюся, що і в мене і картинка трошки пожвавилась. Тож, шановні пані та панове, вітаю вас із 32-ю річницею незалежності. Складно повірити, але вже 32 роки – це ж який вік в нашій державі. І зичимо їй все більше і більше процвітання в наступні роки. Ну, відповідно, сьогодні ми розпочинаємо вже на 33-й річниці, так би мовити, на 33-й рік пішли. І тепер в нас, скажімо так, розпочинається і гоночна активність. І тут попереду планети всієї, як то кажуть, наш такий своєрідний турнір. Враховуючи, що аж цілих 3 гонки сьогодні ми побачимо, шановні пані та панове, тож я запрошую приєднатися. Сьогодні починаємо із дещо менш швидких хлопців, продовжуватимуть заїзд хлопці, які все швидше і швидше накочуватимуть. Георгію, розкажеш про свої сподівання від першого заїзду?
Так, звісно. Я, чесно кажучи, сподіваюся, звісно, що наші хлопці виборять пол. Не дуже знайомий з хлопцями з інших країн. Я знаю, що всі готувались, і, в принципі, пілот Арон Мельдена з ЮАР, він має дуже гарні шанси, тому що в нього насправді гарна машина. А от ми бачимо, що Макаренко заїхав на піти, тому що виїхав не на тому комплекті гуми. Ми можемо побачити букву H на білому фоні, це означає, що це були харди. Яка гума зараз у пілота, ви можете побачити знизу, є біля лівого кута якби такі машинка і датчики колес, і над машиною є RH. RH – це Racing Hard, RM – це Racing Medium, RS – це Racing Soft. Тож ми бачимо, що пілот не той комплект одягнув і побачив це тільки вже, як приїхав одне коло, на жаль. Я знаю точно, що, я думаю, буде боротьба між пілотом ЮАР і нашими. Пілот зі Штатів теж непогано їде, але все ж таки, я думаю, що в нього менше шансів. Як ми бачимо, пілот з Норвегії теж якось не дуже впевнено поки себе показує. Є певні складнощі, можливо, погано готувався, можливо, теж якісь лаги в нього є. Поки що так.
And try to say something for our international guys. So it's first of 3 races today at the evening. So again, Trond Arne Marvold had some problems with his Peugeot RCZ. Not the best start of the day or the evening for this guy from Norway, but let's see how it works for him, how he try and can drive this car for the rest of the distance. Again, next driver is 6 on the road. As I can see, it's Serhiy Makarenko. Serhiy Makarenko had the best time, as I know, before this race. So he showed something like 1 week earlier a good time. And now he just only 6 on the track, as I can see it. Well, very interesting actually track that we have. It looks like some 9.5 kilometers, so 21 corners, 4 fast straights, and of course a lot of Porsche 911 991.2 is generation, 510 horsepowers. Very powerful cars, but I don't know what car will be the best for today. Let's see, actually. Driver from South Africa with very nice car, of course. It's Peugeot, as you can see. Ronaldinho, of course. And as I know, he was not so fast, or we have some changes before this race. Please, Georgi, tell me. Because I know, I saw it's number 3 for timing, Ronaldinho. So Dean KYIV, this name and surname of this guy, but as I saw it must be Toyota, not Peugeot, but of course it's Lion. Of course it's Lion on the track. In very interesting livery, of course. Tell me something about livery of this car.
Really interesting colors, for sure. I really appreciate that every pilot from South Africa have this livery with the national colors of Ukraine, and it's really lovely for us, for sure. A lot of pilots have some decals, some banners connected to Ukraine on their cars, and it was not a requirement, so we really appreciate it. And about the best car for this track, I can say that Porsche is a really stable car, but we have the big line of middle track, so straight line, and the maximum speed of Porsche not so good like with another cars. For example, this Peugeot VGT, it's just a concept car, but drivers in the game have an opportunity to ride it too. So but Porsche not so good in the corners. So we'll see. We already see that our 2 pilots, and as I know, first pilot on Porsche, and second pilot also can be on Porsche, as I know. And so for current moment, we can see that Porsche is a good choice. Трафік. Бачимо великий трафік. Хлопцям, я думаю, не буде можливості поставити прям найкращий свій час. Все ж таки дуже щільно їдуть. Але це через тайм-ліміт. Всього 10 хвилин дано на кваліфікацію перед гонкою. Не так багато часу. 3.30 одне коло. Виїхав з підстопу, одне коло 3.30. І ще 2 кола в тебе є. Ми бачимо, що пілот з Африки чомусь був на хардах. Ну, мабуть, це через те, що все ж таки це не топова група. Хлопці менш часто приділяють самій грі. І, мабуть, не знаю цих тонкощів, на жаль, через це. Бачимо теж гарну ліверію нашого пілота Кістієнко. Купа наших спонсорів, яким ми дуже вдячні за те, що вони підтримують нас в такий час. Team рейтинг. Зараз, на жаль, нема можливості їздити так багато в реалі. Тому, багато пілотів переходять саме в Team рейтинг, знаходять себе в чомусь новому, і ми дуже цінимо це. Є вже обгони, є в нас Владислав Будюк Teamplay. Така у нього мінімалістична ліверія. І гарна зелена ліверія у британця. Це фінальне коло, як ми бачимо. Позиції на стартовій рішниці вже ми можемо побачити. І на щастя для нас, звісно, українські пілоти забрали, так сказати, був на кваліфікацію. І сподіваюсь, так буде і на гонці. Зараз дочекаємо, коли всі пілоти доїдуть своє останнє коло, і після цього система гри автоматично вже викине все в хлопі, і хлопці зможуть змінити собі гуму, налаштування, які їм треба на саму гонку. На жаль, ми бачимо, що у цього пілота вже нема шансів покращити, він наче повертався в меню, але не знаю, на що він розраховував. Кваліфікація вже завершується і, можливо, немає так багато досвіду по часім рейтингу. І не знаю всіх тонкощів виглядає, як я сказав.
Yes, it seems like a warm-up what was in Formula 1 in 90s and 2000s. So very interesting format I can see about this race. And I very hope that we will see very interesting race, at least first race. It's the ending of warm-up, as I can see, and couple minutes and we'll see the main race. Of course, it's first race or race group 3. I can see actually Ukrainian drivers and drivers from countries with Nigeria, it's Norway, north of Europe, Iceland, and south of Africa. So 13 drivers, and we try to explain or try to introduce our 13 drivers for this event for first race. So row number 7, it's Gretar Gunnarsson, Ferrari Group 3 car. Row number 6, Victor Williams from Nigeria and Trond Arne Marvold from Norway. Row number 5. It's David Pastukhov from Ukraine and Dmytro Romankevich, also Ukrainian driver. Row number 4. It's Pavlo Litviak and Vladislav Budyuk. Row number 3, row number 3. It's Valery Pereverzov and Idris Waziri. Row number 2, Dean Kotsi and Fola Solomon. And row number 1, Serhiy Makarenko and Walter Schroeder. So it's all our 13 drivers from race number 1. And we're waiting for beginning. So, red lights, 12 laps, and... as I see it, it was false start or not? Well,
Yeah,
very interesting
start.
situation. Bad start for one from our guys. As I can see, it's Dean Kotsi or Puma Romaldino. He was not the best on the race, on the beginning of our race. So, unfortunately, he had some penalty. What penalty can be used
if
in this
pilot
type of race?
started earlier, that he can start at the same time. So, like no penalty, just holding on start line. So also it's
Whoa! Really bad start for Dean Kotsi. He wasn't good enough, but now he one of the last guys on our race. I can see only 10 guys, so couple drivers not here. And first at that time, our Ukrainian driver. Well done, Max Oleksienko, but he's not the one who tried to win this race. Driver Zaparedos, his main opponent, and Serhiy Makarenko. So, first 4 drivers from Ukraine, very interesting, and 5 from Great Britain. I think that it's main driver for Webbo. Webbo, hello. We're waiting for you for the next race, but this race it's my and Georgi. Sorry for some maybe not the best moments because not the best connection I have. Sorry for that, of course, but I try to do my best to say something, to try to see something at least. So, Depredos now has first position. Try weak wheels to get better position for his car. As I see, it's Mercedes AMG. Great drive from British driver Victor Williams. It's a driver from Great Britain, of course, but I saw that Nigeria, his license, I don't know actually how it works, but let's see. And Vic Wills and Vladislav Budyuk try to drag each other. Vic ahead of his main rival in the middle of this field. So, well done, great battle from these guys. Georgi, what you can say about racing situation at that moment?
I can say that it's really, really interesting, but it's only first lap. So I think guys should calm a bit maybe, because as we see a lot of contacts, a lot of overtakes. It's only start, guys. Keep calm, and you can't win race on first lap. So just be careful and go, and maybe on the last lap we will know who win. But we can see that David Depredos on first place already have go alone. So yeah, I think it's because Oleksienko and David. One more contact with the wall. Unfortunately, missed his brake line. I think it's because David and Alexenko have some battle versus each other, and they lose together. If they just go together and some bump push and work together, I think it will be better for sure. But we know that we know.
Yes, this race must be very, very long. Something like 48, maybe 50 minutes, I think. Who knows?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see, of course. But only 8 drivers, or we can see more guys? What about 9 and 10 place?
Let's see.
How many drivers we...
Some penalty.
Yes, 10,
I think
10
it's for
places.
pit lane. She exits or go to the pit lane with some penalty, and Ronaldinho from Africa have some trouble. Yeah, it was a really bad start for him. Moreover, I want to say that it's just Group 3, so it's not so fast pilot, but we already have a really great battle for podium, so I can't imagine what will wait us in Group 2 and Group 1. It should be really interesting battle with a more faster pilot, for sure. We can see overtake. Yep. It was overtake, but not sure that it will be successful. Yeah. Not so good. But on the straight line, I think Peugeot can show what he can. As I know, the maximum speed of Peugeot near
From 0 to 0, as I can say.
Yeah. Oh, what is what? It was some troubles with car for Norway pilot, unfortunately. Maybe he did not so good training or something, or just bad day, can be. David have near 10 seconds behind other pilots, but he is on soft tires on this race. The hard tire will require it, so he should to drive at least one lap with hard tires, and the mechanic will use hard. And I think other pilots also use hard. So when he will time to switch, we can see maybe something changes, because when David will have hard, mechanical will have soft, and can maybe try to catch. A lot of purple sectors. Думаю, можемо трохи покоментувати і на Солов'їної для наших улюблених глядачів і земляків. Бачимо дуже гарну ліверію Дмитра, такі градієнтні відтінки наших кольорів, нашого прапора. Наші державні кольори, дуже гарна ліверія, гарна машина. Я теж полюбляю Porsche. Він тримається 7-м, і він використовує медіум, тому він зможе проїхати трохи більше, ніж хлопці на софтах, і вимушений буде проїхати менше кіл на хардах, то, я думаю, теж щось дасть. Ми бачимо, що 6, 5, 4, 3 та 2 місце навіть їдуть дуже поряд, тому, я думаю, буде багато обгонів, багато змін позицій, але все вирішить вже 12 коло, точніше кінець 12-го кола. То як він приїде. Теж гарна ліверія у Олексєнко. Великий такий спойлер у цього Nissan GT-R. Теж гарний вибір, я вважаю, на цю трасу. Бачимо Тімура попереду. В нього теж Porsche, дуже гарна ліверія, дуже прям. Не знаю, не можу підібрати. Що ти скажеш, Павло, як тобі ці ліверії? Є тебе в житті з чимось подібним? Окей. Схоже, це ті самі проблеми з зв'язком, про які Павло казав, на жаль. Треба почекаємо, коли вони...
Я спробував просто приєднатися, чи вдалося?
Так.
Я сподіваюся, що мене добре чутно. Що ж, трошки інший пристрій довелося підключити. So, let's see the standings in this moment. So, David Pastukhov is first driver, second is Serhiy Makarenko, and actually driver from Great Britain is, as I told earlier, Victor Williams. And first driver, let's see from this great livery, of course, number 24, Porsche 911, of course. So it's Timur Pereverzov, as I know, Max Oleksienko, fifth driver. What a sun! Hard to say, hard to see something in this track when you can be blind from the sun, or not. What are you think about this moment?
Yeah. And if you use virtual reality glasses,
by the way,
it's really big issue.
Overtaken maneuver from Timur Pereverzov. Well done. Now he got third place. What about podium of this race? All three drivers can get podium positions when they will finish at these positions, or not? Or it will be just position number 31st, 32nd, and 33rd. What about this situation in the main or the biggest ending?
Second flow that you described is champions will be only in first group, so it's just like you said, 31, 32, 33 places.
Not the best option, of course, for these drivers, but what we can do. And these guys, next time, I hope they'll train more and get better positions. Of course, I hope that we can see more races from Digital Autosport Commission in maybe next few weeks, few months, of course. Next year, because I must... Whoa. Hard moment, actually, for Budyuk, Vladislav Budyuk, but he saved his car. So it's really main thing that he did. So I saw speed was something like 200 kilometers per hour. So not the first, not the easiest deal, but he did it. And he has only 6th position in this moment of the race, but we see some battle ahead of Budyuk. Two guys, it's Pereverzov and Oleksienko. Oleksienko, better position on track for him, and of course better position in standing for Oleksienko. No, what happened now? Victor Williams, as I can see, tried to get second from Serhiy Makarenko. And where is David Pastukhov? He really far from these guys. Even I can't see him. What difference between or delta between Pastukhov and Makarenko? Interesting to see it moment.
Near 23 seconds at the moment.
Wow, what a race from David Pastukhov. Really top guy, but unfortunately he can get only 31st position.
Yeah. But he just because, for example, Makarenko and David have different strategies. Makarenko started from hard tires and will switch to soft, and David starts from soft tires and switch to hard. So maybe near the end of the race, they two will be close to each other. So it's just different tactics for this race, because on this race you should use, it's required to use hard tire. Yeah, for one lap.
And of course, this is very interesting. Who can win with this strategy, with his car, and of course with his driving skills and racing pace? So main, I even can't, even I can't to say what's the best tactics. Of course, in this track, at this moment, these two guys in the main straight, not the main straight, but one of fourth straight on this track. And by the way, 26.2, as I can see, it was the best sector for one of our drivers, best sector for himself. And our battle for second place is continuous. Serhiy Makarenko better than Victor Williams at this moment, but let's see how it works for another part of the race, because only 5 laps. It's only 5th lap, as I can understand. Yes?
Yep.
Not.
Yep.
So only 30 4 12 laps. Yes, we saw only 1/3 distance. So really nice. And again, we can see, or first time for me actually, I can see David Pastukhov, really nice driver with good driver skills. He was at Marseille in Olympic Games for motorsport, and now he has really nice pace. By the way, what about pit stops? How much time drivers need for this?
The best option, I think, only one pit. But some drivers can drive without pit if they can save fuel, because from start you have fuel to 10, maybe 11 laps, depends to the car. But if you just economy a bit, you can do it without pit, but only if you started from hard tires and will use hards for a whole race, for sure. Because if you started from soft, there no sense to save fuel, because you anyway should to use a pit. Soft tires can be with you maybe 6, maybe 7 or 8, I think not 9 laps for this race. Also depends to strategy. If you start from soft, you have more fuel in your tank, so it's more weight, so your tires will have less rotors than if you start from hard, switch to soft, and in your tank you will have a bit less fuel, and it also depends to the tire age. So first pit stop for David, from soft to hard. I think he can drive on soft one more lap, but it's in strategy 7 laps.
Great work from all these people.
Yeah, for sure. It's in this game, it's automatically pit stop. You just to choose the tire and amount of fuel. Second pit stop, Makarenko.
Another pit stop for Serhiy Makarenko, but I don't think that he can get some advantage from this, especially about, if I say about David Pastukhov, because David has really strong pace at that moment. Max Oleksienko was at the pit, so most of drivers try to do their pit stops at that moment. Looks like some 1/2 distance. But of course, what about second pit stop?
It's near 20 seconds if you add some fuel and change tires. But we can see just now Timur don't add fuel, so maybe I don't know. Maybe he forgot, or just economy when he was on hard tires. I don't know, but not usual.
Very long stay straight, and of course more than 200 kilometers per hour. Some like 240, 950, 250. Yes, it's the maximum speed of this car. Do you know any other cars can do it better or quicker in this straight?
Yeah, on next straight, what was after this bridge?
It was limitator in that Peugeot, as I can see. So 250
I'm not sure
and
about
it,
this Peugeot, but for Peugeot
it was
VGT,
maximum speed.
it was 2000 near 80.
280.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but it's about another Peugeot that who drives by South Africa pilot. Porsche, we can see near, I think, 2000.
Yes, more speed. 260. Yes. 265 at 6 gear.
Yeah.
About Nissan GTR.
Let's see.
261. Again, looks like
bit
some
less.
3 or
Yeah,
whoa,
and
what a
Peugeot.
speed!
Yeah.
Another Peugeot. What
It's
a speed!
another Peugeot.
Yes.
The same
That's it.
for this Porsche.
It was the main hero from the start of the race, Ronaldinho, when he was first at the first corner, but because he get false start, another part of the track, again with black, with a blue and yellow flag at the roof. Thanks for all your supporting. It's very important for all our nation, for Ukraine. I can say again, today Ukraine has birthday, 32 years old of our country. By the way, this day, 32 years ago, it whoa, what hard actually to drive this car, but I think that Timur Pereverza, whoa, again, yo. I don't think so that in real racing he can do something like that, because yes, penalty, as I can see, half a second, because he was all four wheels of his car was at grass, as I can see, as I can understand. Yes, it's the main reason that he
I think
got this
maybe
penalty of 0.5 seconds, and again another penalty. Yes, not the best situation from this guy. So let's see another Porsche, Peugeot RCZ from Trond Arne Marvold from Norway. So of course we can see some liveries, looks like red. It's some colors from Norway, red, white and blue. Another Peugeot colors, black and white. So, and this is time of Trond Arne, 3 minutes 42.5 seconds. Not the best time, of course, but he tried to do at least at this track, 3:29.9. It's time of our leader, of David Pastukhov, the fastest lap. Let's see what time can do another guys from another races. So again, it's the best part from this track. As for me, it's a bridge, very interesting section. I'm lovely this straight, of course. Georgi and what you can see about differences between first and second. Very interesting. What pace has David Pastuchov after his pit stop?
Yeah, it's near 10 seconds, but Buduk has now visited the pit stop, but maybe she choose a strategy without a pit at all. So we'll see. And Makarenko was on the pit and have near 26 seconds to the leader David. So as I know, David drove on hard after pit and still on hard tires, and Makarenko used soft. So I think it should be less time to leader, but it's only it's a bit less from some time, but I don't know. I think Buduk can catch David, and maybe we will see a battle for first place. We can see Dmitro. It's a pit stop for Buduk from hard tires to soft, so no battle for first.
I have read our chat. One of our driver right. I wonder if Makarenko can catch David by the end of race. Very interesting. Why not? And we have another question. What tires are mandatory? By the way, Georgi, we have some tires that drivers must use.
Pilots can use any tire, racing tire, soft, medium, hard. But for a race, it's required to use a hard tires at least one lap. So if you start from hard tires, you can go all race without pit stop, with pit stop. It's not problem. But if you start from soft or medium, you should to switch your tire to hard and drive at least one lap with hard tires, because it's like a requirement, mandatory. But you can use any tire.
Eighth lap of 12. Yes. Little bit of shame actually for Victor. For Victor Williams. So he was slower in this section, but we saw why. And again, another driver who want to catch his opponent. It's Timur Pereverzov. Timur, not this time. But no, he used another trajectory. As I heard in qualification session, that this track is very nice to choose different lines of the track. Isn't it? This is true or not? Pereverzov behind his opponent, and he tried to overtake. Again, I don't know what about next corner, but it's best option of course for Victor Williams, and he remained his position actually. What an action of the day maybe, if we say about battle for positions. But really nice episode as for me. Some of our guys ride super brace, nice. A lot of new drivers of course try to use this chat on YouTube channel of Digital Autosport of Ukraine, because today we have unbelievable race, GranTurismo, race dedicated to Independence Day of Ukraine, and this is only first part because today we will see another two races at 9 o'clock and at 10 o'clock if we tell about GMT plus 2. Again, another. Whoa. Victor Williams has bad moment, and again he lost his car and crashed. Wow. Again. From hero to zero, I can say, actually. He was one of the first 3 drivers at the beginning of the race, and now he is only 9th. Disaster from this driver from Great Britain or Nigeria. I don't know actually what country he... From what country actually he... but another part of this race, position number 7. Who is this? Try to understand, because we... Yes, I saw it. I saw that he is a driver from USA, but I don't know, before start I didn't see any American driver, but nice color from Peugeot, from Porsche, of course, from Porsche. Looks like Irish green, this color of this car, but some looks like British racing green too. I can't understand from this picture. Maybe British racing green, yeah. Some look like a British racing green, like some Lotus, but not a Porsche, but it's virtual racing, and in this type, this kind of racing, we can see anything or everything, of course. And this driver has 7th position, Riv 1, of course. I don't know his name and surname, but I know who are leading now. And these drivers are from Ukraine, all 3 positions. On 1st place, from the beginning, or maybe from the 2nd or 3rd lap, it's David Pastukhov. His car we try to find, and this is it. This is Porsche 911 510 bhp of this flat 6, 200 and almost 70 kilometers per hour on this straight. Another driver, by the way, only 15 seconds David Pastukhov ahead of this guy, of Serhiy Makarenko with his Toyota Supra, with really wild and wide body. Really nice car in yellow colors. 14.7 seconds. Serhiy tried to catch his opponent, and another way he tried to be quicker than Vladislav Buduk and his car Nissan GTR in white and red colors, red diffuser, red spoiler, and rear and mirrors. So he tried to catch Serhiy Makarenko, and of course to be faster than Maxim Alexienko. Maxim Alexienko is our 4th driver in this race, so he can get better result for him. I can see that another guys from South Africa, it's Ronaldinho, again our hero from the beginning. He was very good, or not so good enough at the first stages of this race. He was at 1st position, and now he is only 5th. But anyway, he tried to continue, and this is very important for him, for his experience, of course, as we drove. It was so close, like in Monaco in Formula 1 couple times ago. And again, I try to find another driver. So Timur Pereverzov, he won his battle from Victor Williams. By the way, where is Victor? Who can see Victor? Who can find Victor? Yes, this is not his place. Number 7, number 8, number 9. So let's see. And maybe as thanks for your information, I can say that Trond Arne marveled DNF in this race. So what's a shame
Maybe
for
connection problems. There was a lot of some problems with connection on formation qualification, yeah, unfortunately. So
And by the way, I can understand him, because first part of this race it was really trouble for me. I tried to see something from this race, but I couldn't see anything. So sorry for that, of course. But it's only my first race, of course, first race as a motorsport commentator in this format of racing in this language. So everything is new for me, but I try to do my best. Let's see how it works for another. So 2 or 3 laps to go for our drivers. 2.5 maybe, because yes, it's not the beginning of track. This part, this bridge, it looks like 3rd or 4th of our 5th straights. Very interesting track, of course, very good conditions actually. Dry track, maybe some interesting traction. By the way, what about traction of these tires and this track? Because I can see enough black tracks on this track. By the way, very good speed about Vladislav Budyuk, yes?
yeah, he has the temp, and maybe it can be second place for him without problems. And we can see that the mechanical closer than it was for David. It's near 12 seconds and 2 laps we have, and I think we can see the battle for first place, maybe with 3 pilots. I think the 4th, 5th and other pilots have no chance to the podium, unfortunately for them.
And Vladislav Budyuk has his 3rd place. Again, behind him it's Maxim Oleksienko. Not the best position for him, but really nice livery and supporting, as I can understand, for our army. Yes, it's about this moment, this military color. So really sad moment for all of Ukrainians, and it's really that situation that we have at this moment. Again, another driver, it's Ronaldinho, his Peugeot. What a nice car, of course, what a nice colors. Driver from South Africa. He has 5th position from 8, as I can see only 8 drivers we have at this moment. 10 was at the start and now 8 position. Yes, or maybe some drivers in this race we can see 2. Yes, only 8 drivers, and 5th of them it's Ronaldinho, or another name, Dean Kotzi. Sorry if I say wrong, but very interesting name and surname from a driver from South Africa. By the way, it's very interesting Group 3, because before the start of the race I called it Group U plus N. Why this? Because we have drivers from Ukraine and drivers from countries, first letter of their countries from N letters. It's Nigeria, it's Norway, maybe not N Iceland, but it is north of Europe and north of all world. Of course, it's North America, again liter and of course only one driver representative South Africa, it's Ronaldinho, but it's like joke because he is from South, not from North Africa. So it's a group before the start of this race. For me at least, it was I had name before for this group is U plus N. By the way, UN it's not the best organization maybe this time for our country, but let's see how it will be next period of time. By the way, 11 yeah, final lap for our leader, for David Pastuchov, and let's see how he could get his first or maybe 31st place on this track. I remind you that we have 12 and this is the last lap of our mega track from France. Very interesting, 9.5 kilometers, 21 corners, and David Pastuchov will finish first, but first he must to get finish. Well, it's Maxim Oleksienko again, first driver, and Ronaldinho tried to get his position before checkered flag. Maybe he can do it, but who knows, let's see. Again, one of couple straights on this place. Very hard to see something when we see sun is very active, not only in Kyiv this day, but in the evening when we see the race, and another tried to save his position from Oleksienko, I think he can get fourth, but as I so we can see bad situation with front left tire. Let's see how he can save his position, but he tried very hard to do this. Max, come on, you can do it. In 32nd, okay, in 32nd the birthday for Ukraine, you must do it. You must to get this position to the end. So the most interesting part of the track, and Ronaldinho drag race, but Ronaldinho, yeah, he got this position for him. Next corner. Yes, now Ronaldinho fourth in this race, so well done. Really great Peugeot, really great livery, and that's why he got fourth position. Very nice car, as for me. So we can say that this guy from Ukraine too, but has just South African license, and that's all. So it's final lap, and what about David Pastuchov? He won this race, because I can't see this driver in what position of the track he's right now. Okay, so it's David Pastuchov, and where is checkered flag? Yes, well done. What a great job for David Pastuchov. He won first race of our Independence Day of Ukraine. Vladislav Budyuk, not far from Pastuchov, and he is second. Third is Serhiy Makarenko. He was very close to his opponent, but only 33rd position, of course. And our hero from couple laps, it's Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho got first place. Fifth, Maxim Oleksienko, and we waiting for next drivers. One of drivers from USA. Rev 1. Okay, Rev 1 from USA 6. Another position. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not the best finish, but it's finished. Timur, what are you did? What you did, of course. Oh, Timur Perversov is 7th position, and another breakdance from Romankevich. Yes, Romankevich is 8th. 9th, Victor Williams. Yes. 8th and 9th positions for our drivers. So, first night drivers goes home, and we begin our preparation for second race, as I can understand. So, as I read, Group 2 waiting for his race, and we can say that David Pastukhov or Depredos won first race. Yoo-hoo! First win for Ukrainian driver today. Let's see what will be at the next second and third races. But first Ukrainian International Independence race. David Pastukhov, Vladislav Budyuk, Serhiy Makarenko, Ronaldinho, Maxim Alexienko, Rev 1, Timur Perversov and Romankevich. And Mr. Romankevich got 8th place. 9th was Victor Williams, and 10th did not finish. Unfortunately, Trond Arne Mørvold. This is our result for the first race of this evening of independence. At least good result for our David Pastukhov. Well done, guy. What a great result. Відомо скільки.
Well, good evening, everybody,
So, as we
race fans, and of course the wonderful people of the Ukraine and everybody else watching us. We are almost underway and ready to get started with race 2. My name is Webbo, here to join you for tonight's second 2 races, and we'll see which nations can take it to the glorious Ukraine so far, who of course scored so highly in that first race. KYIV, you are still here with us. What are you expecting from this next race?
Well, wow, Webbo, a lot of thanks for your visit to our second race of this unbelievable day of Ukrainian, for every Ukrainian driver, for every Ukrainian man and women. So we celebrate 32nd birthday of our country, and of course I want to see battle, and battle. More dramas, of course, more interesting finishes of some drivers. But let's see. So it's only second part of our short races, so it's positions from 16th to 13th, as I can understand the situation. And let's try to introduce our drivers. So it's well, from the first position it's Yevgen Bolibruch. In this session we can see Stein Nieuwenhuizen, Robin Williams, Vladislav Mikhailenko, Fred Bridgens, Ingitor Trugvason, Sindri Ragnarsson, Ruslan Chernolutsky, Andrei Kruchko, Osama Rsaisi, Viktor Dorin, Volodymyr Zhadlych, and Gennady Spurik, Sven Henriksen, and Donovan Leher. It's our 15 drivers.
Absolutely. So 15 drivers to take on the formidable challenge of Saint Croix Route C, the widest, longest Route C configuration of this Saint Croix, as they get ready on this outlap, which is going to take a fair amount of time. Of course, a 3 minute or so outlap. It will be a roughly 3.5 minute fast lap, and they might just about squeeze in a second fast lap. And I think there's just about enough time to run the soft tyres all the way through, but they'll probably have to take this first lap pretty gently, at least to start with, so they don't burn away too much of the tread depth and the optimal grip that the soft tyres will bring them. So we'll get our first look at the cars, of course, and you can see plenty of Ukrainian representation on track, not just from the Ukrainian drivers, of course, but everybody here to support the Independence Day of Ukraine as they come onto the bridge section around sector 3 of 5 in this circuit. It's a very long circuit. It's the second longest track available to league racing, of course, and we get a really good up close look at all the different vehicles and liveries, and we'll be talking about those, of course, throughout the course of tonight. Make sure that you've seen in the description and on the lower right hand corner of your screen an opportunity to donate to sim racing in the Ukraine tonight, and if you've got anything that you wish that is spare to you, you go ahead and zap the code or click the link through the course of tonight. We'd also love your support on social media and share out the hashtag Race for Ukraine, and to share out, of course, the coverage from tonight's racing. You can clip your favorite bits. You can bring your friends in to watch along with you as well, and just make sure that you are supporting us in every way possible, every way that is available to you, and hopefully we will be able to present to you an equal, if not better, race for this race 2 than the first race brought to you, as we're getting ready for our first flying laps to be underway. Looks like it's Zadlun who will take them away from the start, the Ukrainian driver, and the Moroccan driver, Ovic, as you see him on your screen, GTMA_Ovic, and then the Icelandic Sindri, who will be presumably about to take it into the third position. You can also see a Norwegian, you can see three South African drivers, and lots of worldwide support here tonight for this happy Independence Day to Ukraine. And it looks like Zadlun and Ovic are already on their flying laps, and someone's coming into the pits for a change of tyres.
Yes, it's a great
So-
moment for practice for our drivers. And after a couple of laps, we of course we waiting for the main action. It's the start of the race. Of course, when drivers can switch their positions, and of course get the best for all rest of the race. And from the pole
Absolutely.
from
It's
pole
also a
position,
matter here
of course, this race will start Yevhen Bolibruch. And of course, I hope that another drivers, at least from Yevhen Bolibruch, it's a Ukrainian driver, another driver, Stein Nieven Huitsen. Oh, very hard to pronunciate this surname. Of course, it's a driver from South Africa, so I hope so, at least for some battle from these guys, from Ukrainian and South African drivers. And of course, Puma Racing Fred, another guy from South Africa. His name is Fred Bridgens. By the way, very interesting section of this track on the bridge. I love this straight, of course. Webber, what is your best position on this track?
I like to see the cars really challenged in those tricky sections where they're coming up to at the moment. The sector they're in at the moment, Sector 2, and I quite like the end of Sector 4, start of Sector 5, just a really difficult and challenging sector to get right. It's a track that looks really wide. It's public roads that are being repurposed for racing. It looks really wide, but actually to stay online, to stay at your optimal level, of course, as usual, it is a very narrow way through. As they come onto this bridge, if you get that corner wrong that they've just gone through now, you will hit the barrier on the outside and compromise your lap hugely. It's very easy to get distracted by the scenery on this track as well. So it's definitely one to keep the focus, and a 12-lap race will really stretch the drivers' focus ability and their ability to concentrate. And we saw some slippery moments towards the end of that previous race, KYIV.
Yes, of course, it was something actually. I can understand that some drivers had some problems with their tires, and just before start-finish straight, they had problems. And of course, it was like breakdance maybe. All this Porsche
It was
911
indeed.
from rear-wheel drive, from rear-wheel drive. So I can expect that in this race we will see something like this. But who knows? Because these drivers,
indeed.
as I can understand, more experienced drivers, and hope for more speed from these guys. By the way,
Absolutely.
interesting moment from Mikhailenko, but he kept his Ferrari on track.
You've got Zadlan was first out on track out of the pits, and he's first in the first run of these hot laps. So a 3:29.0 is a good lap to get under the belt. Puma Racing GTR has just gone faster still, and he has that 3:29.0. We did see some laps a lot quicker than this in qualifying, in the pre-qualifying sessions on Friday night last week. And coming through some new personal bests, obviously, from everybody who is attacking the racetrack. This will be the final opportunity now. This is the final lap for everybody to set their times, as we have a 10-minute counter on the clock. So it won't be, it will have passed the 10-minute point by the time they cross the line next time. It looks like Mikhailenko and Chernolutsky might be coordinating getting a slipstream here. Chernolutsky has got a 5/10 of a second penalty. That is not a full 5/10 of a second. That's even worse, because that is half a second off throttle when the rest of the drivers would normally be on full throttle. So he steps aside, which is very sporting of him, as we have Puma Racing GTR here, who is in one of what is now becoming almost the Team South Africa colours and livery, representing, of course, the Ukrainian flag beautifully. But we see this very similar livery among many of the South African drivers. He is fastest so far, and we'll stay with him and see if he can extend his gap at the front as he goes across the next sector to see whether Zadlun, who is second, Mikalenko, who is third, Bolicbrook is fourth, and the second South African racer, Puma Racing Fred, is in the fifth position at the moment. Here comes Zadlun now in the BMW, traditional BMW colours here, and it looks like a stock livery perhaps for Zadlun.
Yes, where looks like this another way. It's not a Rosso Corsa Ferrari because it's Vladislav Mikhailenko and all white Ferrari. Of course, some drivers from South Africa, we saw it, has blue and yellow colors, so its colors dedicated to our country. We are very appreciated for this, and of course, let's see how it works, at least for Puma Racing GTR. He has Peugeot, this car in Ukraine symbolic livery, so maybe he tried to get his best and try to win this race and maybe 16th position overall. Very, very nice car.
There you can see we can confirm the final lap. Of course, top left of your screen, it is the final qualifying lap here. We will hopefully get an update any second now about Puma Racing's, and he has extended his gap. It's a purple sector for him that is 77 thousandths of a second faster than he's gone before over such a long circuit as well. He is on track here to try and secure the pole position. We shall see if the drivers behind him and perhaps Zadlun, who is just ahead of him, can steal that pole position away from him for a few seconds at least. And he's about to cross the line. Here comes then Puma Racing GTR to go up to the end of his final lap as he will cross the line, take the checkered flag, and he does not go any faster. In fact, he lost time in that final sector. Zadlun also got within 1/100th of a second of Puma Racing GTR as Puma Racing Fred now secures third position. Mikalenko in the all-white Ferrari comes battle. Up. Well, he gets the pole position by 0.6 of a second. Whoa. Tremendous from Mikalenko. What a fantastic lap, KYIV.
Yes, what a race, what a result from Mikhailenko from Ferrari for 58 Italy Grand Prix car. So, really, I love Ferrari, but I can't believe in it that this driver get this time. What a lap time, 3:27.9.
as well. Bolicbrook has gone even faster.
only 2 seconds. What this guy's doing? What this guy's doing at this moment? 3:27.9 from Bolicbrook. This driver on BMW M6 GT3 was the fastest, as I can understand, in last week from these 15 drivers. So again, he is the fastest.
Yeah,
but this time, take a look at the results if we can, so we can see the gaps. He was only fourth last week, so he did better result than it was.
We'll see if we can have a look at the results, but we know, of course, that Mikalenko was the fastest, and we're ready to press the start button as soon as possible here to get the drivers underway. We need to recover a little bit of time, so you understand if we push as fast as possible to try and recover, we just give the drivers a minute or two to get themselves prepared. But we will be a grid start, so it will be a standing start on the grid markings for maximum excitement into the first few turns. But it will be Bolicbrook at the head of the field, or 3:27.9, the only driver in the 3:27 in this second group, followed by Mikalenko, and then GTR, Zadlun and Fred, Fluffy Butch, Spurik, Kruchko, Dorin, and Sniper, with Ovich and Sindri behind, as far as I can tell at this stage. And we shall have a look and get us ready for you. The traditional resort of all the visuals for us, as will be under starters orders. Bolicbrook in the black, Mikalenko in the white Ferrari, and then unusually the South African racer in third position in the Ukrainian colours.
Looks like
five lights are on, and we're ready to get
like
underway.
Chess game.
Let's go
Black
as
and white.
Bolicbrook
And-
joins from the start,
Yes.
and it's a lovely beginning from both of them, but it's Mikalenko with the initial grip who gets the tail ahead of the BMW and secures the starting position all the way up there into first position from second on the grid, and it's there's a lot of cars in the dust and the dirt getting down for the first major braking zone, KYIV, and they head up onto the first straight.
Yes, what a great battle from Ukrainian and South African drivers, and at this moment Ukrainian guys is better, and of course I like it. I like this battle. I like this drag racing. It looks like in this track when we have looks like 5 straights. So first lap will be very interesting, and maybe couple times of changing positions from our top 2 and another battles on this track. So Mikhailenko and Bolicbrook first and second, then 2 guys from Puma Racing team, and another Ukrainian guys from 5th to 8th position. This is Jadlun, this is Shpurik, this is Kruchko, and this is Chernyavsky, Chernolutski, sorry for that. So these guys again,
for GTR
yes,
there.
yes,
He's
we-
dropped down to 9th position, GTR, who was on the second row of the grid. He's obviously had a big issue from away from the start, although it's there's plenty of time to recover his race. But up at the front, it looks to be Mikalenko, and Bolicbrook has dropped down, and he's continuing to drop down. Let's have a look and see where Bolicbrook is at the moment, because he's down to 4th position. Clearly, some issue in sector 3 before they come onto the bridge, and Bolicbrook down into 4th place. What a big mix-up of the order so far, Kayveri.
Well, what a race, and we lost couple of leaders, so maybe it's problem with connection, because I don't think that this driver, that Bolicbrook was so slow, or I need some replay of this incident, because I can't see where this top driver of Ukrainian league in this second group. So very big disappointment for one of our drivers. Another driver, Mikhailenko, still in the first position, and I hope that he tried to save his position, but 2 drivers from South Africa very strong, and they try to first of all to catch Mikhailenko, and then maybe to overtake maneuver.
And you can see just riding on board with Fred there in preparing to try and widen out the corner and brake as wide as possible to straighten that corner. He put a wheel out onto the grass. There's a lot of curbs in the correct positions, but sometimes you will see that there's no curb in the braking zone, and he just has slowed himself slightly, and actually it's then Bolicbrook who's trying to take P3 away from Fred, and Bolicbrook was just going into the next corner. He really struggled to find a way through as he runs slightly wide again as they head onto the start-finish straight to finish lap 1 and begin lap 2 of this 12-lap race. Bolicbrook, he appears to not quite have the pace, but then Mikalenko is also looking in his mirrors a lot here, because Fluffy Butt from South Africa is hot on his tail.
Yes, it's driver, as I can see, Stein Nieuwenhuizen. This is Aston Martin, yes, his car, and of course blue and yellow, and Mikhailenko, by the way, had the best lap time, of course, on the first lap.
Absolutely. So it's Mikalenko from Fluffy Butt or Stein with Fred and Bolicbrook right on his tail here and catching, but he's 2.9 seconds away from the lead of the race that he was challenging for earlier. Puma Racing Fred is moving around in the braking zone, trying to stop the move coming as we look back from Mikalenko for the battle at the head of the field as he goes fastest in that sector as well through the first sector. But Fluffy Butt is hot on his tail and trying to find a way through. Down a bit further in the order, then you've got Kruchko. You've also got our second racer from from South Africa. Ovic representing Morocco today, having a train of cars behind him as well. And there's plenty of battling going on, except for Hi-Fi Man from Norway, who appears to be alone at the moment. What can he see from in front of him, I wonder? Well, he can just see the tail of Zadland's BMW, the white and two blue-coloured car. Moving up the order, Dorin, Sindri, Chernolutski, and here is Spirik just in 5th position, but they're starting to form some gaps. The top 4 very much away here from the rest of the field, but Bollybrook got past Fred, and the hunt now continues to try and get back on terms with those top 2 drivers. Have soft tyres for the majority of the field to start this race as well, Fluffy Butt, and we were hearing earlier on that the only requirement for tyres is that the hard tyres must be used for at least 1 lap, so that will be one strategy to bear in mind. Also, of course, they've got to refuel. They won't get fully to the end of the race on the start fuel. Does look like Mikhailenko, perhaps from the perspective of Fluffy Butt in second here, might be suffering a little bit of lag. There'll be some server discrepancies with the performance on various drivers' networks, and therefore they need to be ultra careful, Kevry, when overtaking. I think we've lost Kaveri for a few minutes. I think he may have disconnected himself just as I was talking about a potential disconnections and difficult internet connection. So I will try and carry on without Kaveri for now. Hopefully we'll get him back for you very soon as we battle at the front of the race to finish off lap 2 now, as Fluffy Butt is only 0.7 of a second behind Mikhailenko, and Bollybrook is catching. He was down in 4th position, some 3 to 4 seconds away from the podium, but now he's coming back towards the battle at the front. And as Fluffy Butt is trying to move past Mikhailenko is driving, looking at least half the time in his mirrors through the corners. That means he's not going to be going quite as quickly, and therefore Bollybrook might have the opportunity to catch up. And I think we can bring Kaveri back in.
I hope so that I off with you now. So Mikhailenko first. Well, I think that my favorite driver on this race, on the race 2, and this is very good. New Sindri. I think I thought that he had some problem maybe as I2 in this car, but no, 7th place. So this Iceland driver, maybe the best Iceland driver at that moment, with his Porsche 911 RSR 991.2. This is generation, and 510 horsepower has this car. So very nice is Iceland colors. So another car from another maybe Scandinavian driver. Of course, 7th, 8th position, not the best at this race, but at least these drivers try to keep fight with our Ukrainian drivers. Only Mikhailenko, the first of them all. Another Bollybrook, as I see, 3rd. No, not 3rd.
A problem for Bollybrook, possibly.
Mistake from our.
Is Bollybrook. He's had another problem, and he's let Fred through again. And in fact, he's slow here up against the barrier. He was slow away from that corner. I wonder, whether that's that outside barrier that really narrows and pinches the corner as they come onto the straight, whether that caught out Bollybrook as he goes through. And he was catching that battle, and then back down to around 12 seconds now to the potential podium. That promotes Fred, and we saw Chernolutski manage to get through and past as well. So Bollybrook not having this all his own way, and he's keeping it very, very interesting as he keeps trying to get back on terms with the leaders and keeps having a problem.
Situation of Bollybrook, it's push hard or go home, but in racing, go home, it means go to finish. So interesting situation. In this moment,
Definitely.
Yes, it was some words from Matthias Ekström, from World RX champion, but in this situation we have another. It's circle racing and it's battle for first place. Mikhailenko ahead, and driver with very hard surname, Nieuwenhuizen second. So it's a real battle for the win in this race, and only it's only third lap. So in what race and what lap will be for the pit stop for one or another driver, and maybe it was the main. But at this moment, Fluffy Buff tried to get first position, and yes, he did it! Whew. What a maneuver.
Possibly outbraking himself there. He had a huge understeer going into the corner as well, very late on the brakes. But Mikhailenko was unable to battle back. He will do it. He will do as best he can here to stay tightly behind P1 now of Fluffy Bud and try and peel across to the inside. Keep him guessing. No defensive shape coming from Fluffy Bud. That is late on the brakes for Mikhailenko. He makes the apex, but they just avoid contact, and that is super close. But Mikhailenko giving up the lead at this stage. We'll see if he's taken too much from his tyres or if he's saving some for the end of this first soft tyre stint, and running wide again. Possibly, no, back onto the circuit, and it looked like that was potentially just a little bit of lag, just fooling us there as he comes through the corner. It looked like he was deep into the gravel trap, but looks like Fluffy but through and into first place at the moment.
And maybe his tires in bad conditions at this moment.
Absolutely. Well, certainly it looks like it's going to be rear limited, the rear wheel drive here, which is very different for the four-wheel drives and the front-wheel drives, of course. And you can see here the VGT version of the Peugeot, much more equal tyre wear on the BMW there of Bollybrook. So far, he's using those tyres very well. He's set up and balanced the car very nicely, as Jenna Lutzky looks a little bit ropey behind him and is trying to find some grip on the racetrack and something left in his tyres. The Genesis, a very balanced overall, very high-performing car, perhaps a little bit too high-performing for its manufacturer and make, perhaps is the rumour among the sim racing community. It's a little bit favourable to show Genesis as such a good car relative to the others. You would always expect the Nismo GTRs and the Supras to be showing well, but perhaps this Genesis, it's a little bit generous in the
by the way, from Ruslan Chernolutsky, it was very dangerous moment. He could get some wall for his car, but luckily he didn't do it.
And just going through the rest of the order there, we see Spiruk outside of the top 5 in 6th position in the Porsche. Another white, mostly white car. Then Sindri in the Icelandically coloured livery, and he is also in a Porsche. So using those rear tyres, but he started on the medium tyres. He's 26 seconds away from the soft tyre group at the head of the field. We have a Norwegian driver, Hi-Fi Man, in the red and the orange and black livery here, car number 39. He's put a few messages of support to Ukraine and celebrating, of course, the Independence Day of Ukraine today. And then through the rest of the order. In P8 is Hi-Fi Man. In P9, we have Sniper for South Africa. And then we have Kruchko for Ukraine behind him a little bit further, but only 1.3 seconds. Very nice battle here at the tail of our field from P8, 9, 10, very close together.
In all parts of this race, we can see some battles. Of course, in some moments it's just only tactically. In another way, it's maybe drivers very, very close, as we can see from Kruchko, and he tried to get some time from this from his arrivals.
A good
and
run
first,
there then for
yes,
Sniper, but the pit stop comes in from Hi-Fi Man, as I'm sure Kavri was about to announce. So he was slow away from that corner, but just so that he made sure he made the pit lane. coming in and shedding those soft tires. And it's a delicate balance here of performance. I wonder whether the driver we saw on medium tires from the start, I think it was Sindri, will be trying to run this as a medium to hard strategy for the 12 laps. The drivers, though, KYIV, will want to use those hard tires as little as possible, because in almost every Gran Turismo race strategy, hard tires are not a good race tire.
Yes, of course, because hard tires not so quick as we wanted. And of course, yes, and of course, by the way, we saw first pit stop of this race after fourth lap. The same situation was last race, hour ago. So first pit stops for our drivers began after fourth lap. So after one third of distance, all distance. Something like 30 kilometers, 40, something like 40 kilometers, because 9.5 kilometers, it's a distance of one lap.
Absolutely. Well, Fluffybutt is still leading the field in this Aston Martin with the South African sun visor on his car number 898, and we look at the gap to behind, and he has extended that gap a little bit. His tire wear very different but well balanced against Mikalenko, who in the Ferrari is really struggling on that rear left tire.
But anyway, he
right-hand turns, and he's struggling.
He very close. Anyway, less than 1 second. So
Yeah.
let's see. Mikalenko tried to push every single lap and every single corner, and of course straight, and he can do it. I believe in his driver skills.
Absolutely. Well, everyone in the Ukraine will be cheering on their own drivers naturally, and hoping that we get a Ukrainian double win out of 2 so far, as Fluffybutt runs very wide onto the grass, feeling the pressure now. And Mikalenko
this is
looking
the
for
chance.
that opportunity, and the roles were very much reversed here from earlier on.
What a race from Mikalenko. He is driver of the day, I can say anyway, even in this time of his race. Just only 5th lap, but he pushed as like an animal, maybe.
Into the
Like
pits, I
prancing
think,
horse,
comes
but
Mikalenko.
yes,
Yeah.
pit stop from Mikalenko.
Nothing from Fred just yet. Still plenty of life on those soft tires, so he may be running a single pit stop onto the hard tire that he has to use for 1 lap minimum. But into the pits comes Bollybrook behind Mikalenko. Chernolutski goes through, and he's not needing a pit stop just yet either. And we'll keep an eye then on Spirik and Sindri, and also on Sniper as well, and see if they are about to come into the pits. But Mikalenko went through into the pits, came out on the hard tire, so he will run half of this race on those hard tires, and they will be a difficult tire to get up to temperature right now, KYIV.
Of course, he need maybe couple laps for it. And of course, I'm still waiting for pit stop from our South African drivers, from our friends, because we want to win this race.
And that will be interesting, because I wonder whether the South Africans will split the strategy and use the medium tire at all to try and take the battle in the pit lane to Mikalenko, who will be running a little bit slower right now than his optimum pace on those hard tires. Down in 9th position at the moment was Kruchko, with 10th place Dorin now. And just behind him then, of course, Jadlin, who was quickest on the first qualifying laps here, and then ended up a lot further down. Also very quick in qualifying was this driver, GTR, down in 12th position. Can't be maximizing the car's performance at this stage, because he was so quick in qualifying on the second row of the grid, but a problem in lap 1 demoted him down the order, as we had a quick look at the rearmost driver there, Hi-Fi Man from Norway, and back up to the head of the field.
Anyway, you must to keep your concentration every single lap, not only like a qualification mode, only just one lap, but every single lap from racing distance. So, of course, the start part, the main, of course, the most important, and after that you must to be some consistently, and of course try to push every single lap, every 21 corners from this track. And it's the only one way to go.
Yeah, I agree. There's also an endurance element in this length of racing as well, because you've got that pit stop, you've got that stint on the soft tires that the drivers will have to completely change their approach from driving gently on the car. We have a change for position coming up here as Spirit comes down the inside, down the long straight here with a look to the inside line. Bollybrook in the black car tries to move to the inside, and Spirit not quite so confident on the brakes as Bollybrook appears to have gone for a new set of soft tires. I think a two-stop strategy from Bollybrook.
Let's see how it works for this driver, because two stops it's so risky, I can say. But who knows? I don't remember. Is it possible to get a pace car on this track, on this event?
Unfortunately not. So I don't think it's likely to work out for him unless we have a circuit-wide VSC. But he might feel that running, let's say, 11 laps on soft tyres will buy him enough time to run one lap on hards. That could be his approach here. 10 or 11 laps on soft tyres with split between two different changes. It's a very unusual strategy, but he needs to do something different here in order to move his way up the field. So you often find this with long races where drivers who are further down in the order will try the crazy strategy, will take a chance, because that's the only real opportunity they have to gain anything on the front of the field, is by trying to do just something different.
But 3 stints, it's too much, as I think.
I suspect you're
crazy
right.
idea.
But let's hope that he knows something we don't know about the car.
It's racing.
So GTR in 12th position, still yet to pit, and he really has faded from his qualifying pace. So I wonder what the second half of the race will bring to Puma Racing's GTR down here in 12th place. We know he's going to have to pay the penalty of a pit stop still as well. And Hi-Fi Man has gone for soft tyres now, a second stint on soft tyres. So not the only one in the race who's gone for a double soft start strategy here, but he will have to use those hard tyres or suffer a penalty. As we go back to the head of the field, the gap for Fred has opened up to 12.6 seconds because he has not pitted yet, and his teammate Fluffy Butt, who has pitted, I believe, down into second position. I'm interested next time we get on board with Fluffy Butt to see what his strategy is. Well, it's the hard tyres. It's exactly the same as Mikhailenko, and
so
I assume that's going to be the most sensible one. But as you say, 3.8 seconds behind now Mikhailenko, and that was that additional lap.
Very small gap,
on the hard tyres.
Yes, actually it's very small gap, and I think that Mikhailenko can get this race in his hand. And of course, let's see, he needs 1 or 2 laps for his maneuver, but from behind it's Bollybrook. What a crazy guy.
Amazing traction from Bollybrook there. That's the soft tyres, of course. That's the soft tyre traction versus the hard tyre poor performance at the start of this stint here for Mikhailenko. And really, it looked like Bollybrook didn't
was
have
like
any kind of any balance of performance there. Mikhailenko dives down the inside, but no grip on the inside of the corner, and Bollybrook had nowhere to go. They avoid disaster, but it's fascinating how these cars are behaving very, very differently on the circuit.
We need some mechanics or maybe a race engineer who can tell Mikhailenko that his opponent will have a pit stop and don't fight with him. Maybe Bollybrook even can help Mikhailenko in his fight with South African drivers.
I think Mikalenko will understand now that if he's not making mistakes coming out of corners and Bollybrook is able to get past him, I think Mikalenko will understand that he's on a different tyre compound. Whether he knows that means that Bollybrook will have to pit again, that's a different matter, because he won't have seen the race from Bollybrook's point of view. He will think perhaps, well, Bollybrook was obviously very slow in the first stint. Maybe he was on hard tyres before, but he can at least try and follow Bollybrook as they go forward, and Fluffybook now retakes the lead. Bollybrook in second, Mikalenko in third, as we saw a pit stop from.
And maybe it's time for a pit stop for this guy, for South African leader, because he's
the previous one pitted, and now this one is Fluffybook, who's on the new hard tires. So these three are the genuine battles here for the eventual podium. We are 2/3 of the way through this race. There are 4 laps plus the one that they are on left to run, and it is Fluffybook from Bollybrook, from Mikalenko, the provisional podium, as Fred back down to 4th position now.
Yes, what a race we have right now. Oh, it's unbelievable, because 3 or maybe 4 drivers try to get the best position as they can. It's a fight for podium places, at least in this race. So it will be very, very hard evening, very hot evening. Of course, we celebrated
the drivers
today.
will be feeling feeling the heat, feeling the pressure now as the race winds into its final stages. Bollybrook will be feeling like he has moved forward well, but he knows he still has a pit stop left to make. So he has got to catch and pass Fluffybook and extend his lead, which should be easier now that he's on the soft tyres for the next 2 or 3 laps. But after that point, those soft tyres will start to fade. And Fluffybook and Mikalenko can push to the end of this race, because those hard tyres, KYIV, will run and run and run.
At least at this moment it looks like sandwich, because we have one South African driver without pit stop, then 2 drivers with one pit stop from Ukraine, and another South African driver who did his pit stop later on. He
Absolutely.
did
Well,
his pit
coming
stop
out of the previous corner there,
yeah.
you've got Bollybrook, who is on those soft tyres. He is going incredibly well out of the corner. He's using the slipstream. He's following Fluffybook. Will he be able to launch a move down the inside? Fluffybook moves to the outside. Unusually, I thought he was going to hold the inside line, but Fluffybook has the better braking position on the outside. Bollybrook takes the lead of the race on lap 8, and he has a big job on his hands now to try and extend this gap so that he can fit those hard tyres at the end of the race as late as he can afford. So on the penultimate lap, at the end of lap 11, he can still take a pit stop. He may not need to put fuel on the car, and he might just have to do a quick tyre change, but it is going to be a big challenge for Bollybrook, who still has a further pit stop yet to make.
So it looks like we have potential winner on 3rd place right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is
Because,
it's fascinating.
yes.
4 seconds out to Mikalenko from this driver that we ride with, Fluffybook, at the moment. Let's see how far that looks. Well, we're looking forward from Mikalenko right now, and it looks like a big gap, doesn't it?
I don't think so. Only 4 seconds, and these drivers must to be on pit, so he have really good advantage, I can say, about his nearest opponent behind him, from another guy from South Africa. So let's see. Actually, let's see. It is so long track, and we have 2-3 laps as well.
Oh,
Let's see.
Sindri
And
trying to
another
make his
part
way
here.
through here
And,
against Fred as well. So Sindri on the medium tyres. He has not pitted yet. So Sindri is running a medium to hard strategy, I think. So he has yet to pit. He started on those medium tyres, and he's up against Fred, who has recently put brand new hard tyres on. So Sindri is actually catching. That's how bad these hard tyres are. Someone on 9-lap-old medium tyres is catching him.
And he's still in good pace, actually. So what he doing in this Porsche 911? water race from
Oh.
him, and it's almost overtaken maneuver from Iceland driver.
Absolutely, as they head
So
into the
this is situation, of course, work to our guy, to Mikhailenko, because at this moment, South African driver Puma Racing Fred must to keep his position, not try to catch Mikhailenko, and now 10.5 seconds. It's difference between third and fourth position. And not far from Sindri, we have another guy, Victor Dorin. His car
and he catches
just behind.
Too. So it looks like Sindri really needs to make that move, and he keeps finding the Fred car, the VGT, just in front of him, just too wide to overtake at various points on the circuit. He'll have a good opportunity maybe into the brakes onto the to the left-hand corner after the bridge, but his best opportunity, I feel, will be after the really long straight. So focus now for Sindri will be on the exit of the next corner to try and maximize his drive away. And he's gone for it early. He's actually gone ahead towards the hairpin prior to the longest straight on the circuit. Car number 86, Sindri goes through, a little bit of understeer, misses the apex, hasn't got the best launch possible away from the corner. And now Fred possibly would have been tempted to have lifted and allowed Sindri through so that he could retaliate like this. Fantastic tactics.
Yes, really nice maneuvers from these guys, but Mikhailenko has almost 12 seconds, so all this battle is, because I still believe that our drivers from Ukraine can win this race with in style.
Absolutely. Well, it is still very much on here for the final positionings. It is coming towards the end of lap 9. The leaders will be approaching the start-finish line. Bollybrook appears, at least to my eye on the track map, to have extended his gap by a good amount now as he heads towards the start-finish line to start lap 10. Bollybrook could well be around 3 or 4 seconds in the lead, but he needs much more than that as Sindri's looking for a route through past Fred once again, and he can't quite find his way there.
But unfortunately, he just fighting only for position 4 and 5th and 6th, by the way. Again, maybe this guy the most part of the race was very had a bad position, but now he tried to do his job, his racing job, much better. By the way, at this time, Sindri with a contact did his
he had the corner, he was on the inside, and now Victor Dorin trying to take Fred as well. It is it's fascinating here. Victor Dorin on the soft tire strategy, the same one as our leader Bollybrook, but somehow Fred got out of that corner well, but he brakes very late, almost hits Sindri,
yes,
and it's Victor Dorin who slides through the inside.
And Victor Dorin 5th. So next driver is Sindri from Iceland, and let's see for another battle for 4th place. So it's the main position, I can say, in this race from these drivers. By the way, only 3 laps to go, as I can see at this moment, and very soon we will see our winner and podium places, at least in this race from Group 2.
So you see Sindri there on the medium tires, the same tires he started the race on. They have now done 10 laps.
Mikhailenko can do it at the track. He can do it on track. So what a nice moment. So very bad strategy from his opponent, because he could win this race, but I don't think that he can. So Stein, Nieuwen, Huizen, very bad situation at this moment. So, or maybe he tried to help Ukrainian driver to win this race. Let's see.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a word of it. I think you put a racing driver into a race and they forget anybody else, and it's all about themselves. So unless they have a dedicated
maybe
teammate,
he forgot about his speed.
It's all about them. Yes. Well, he moves to the outside. He's shaping around, trying to stop the toe, but it's to no avail because Mikalenko could just shadow him down this really long straight. Mikalenko has got now within 6/10, maybe even under 6/10. Yeah, half a second away from Fluffy Butt. Fluffy Butt, who is on the hard tyres. Mikalenko is on the hard tyres. Bollybrook, though, at the head of the field. One more stop still to make as Fluffy Butt runs out of racetrack, goes out onto the grass, and now this should be a golden opportunity for Mikalenko into the final sector of this 10th lap. He will look patiently. He's being very, very patient here and waiting for his best opportunity. Doesn't want to take any huge risks and end up off the circuit. He knows there's still plenty of time, plenty of corners before he can try and win this race.
And he needs
Bollybrook
only
in the
one
pits.
straight. Yeah. Maybe it's
So
Ukrainian
Bollybrook will
team.
have to fuel. He will have to add a little bit of fuel, and he's going to change onto those hard tyres for the final 2 laps of the race. And here is then your battle for the lead as Mikalenko coming out of the final corner draws alongside as they pass the start-finish line and down to the inside. A tiny bit of rubbing between the two vehicles, but Mikalenko takes the lead for Ukraine at the head of the field at the start of lap 11.
Yeah, he old new leader. Yes. Mikhailenko at this moment the best driver, but I don't know what will do his opponent. I think I remember one Grand Prix from Formula 1, like Michael Schumacher did his pit stop on the last
lap.
yes, on the last lap. It was British Grand Prix, as I remember, maybe 2003 or even earlier. Yeah, but in this moment it doesn't work. Of course, it doesn't work, and Bollybrook has a better chance for second or even first place. Let's see. By the way, what gap?
Fastest lap there for Kruchko, who takes a 3:27.8. I think that was faster than his qualifying time for Kruchko there. So a great fastest lap from him. Bollybrook, I think, will be pretty happy with a podium after some problems at the start of the race and running this very unusual strategy. Soft tyre, and hard tyres for the final 2 laps. He's trying to make it work, and he's only 7.5 seconds away, but now he's on the same tyre, and it's actually in worse condition because it's cold and it's at the start of its lifespan, and it's trying to get up to temperature. Fluffy Butt, though, does not want to let Mikalenko go, and it seems like whenever we get a leader here, KYIV, they end up being caught by second position.
Yes, it's all possible. By the way, I can say about Bollybrook is risky one because but maybe risky. Who knows?
And you can see how he's struggling on those tyres, and it's a very difficult situation to go from the soft tyre onto the hard because you are used to having so much grip, and then you come out and you feel like you're driving on ice. And the tyres just will not grip in for you.
2 different types of tyres, so almost
I always prefer, as a driver, I always prefer going from the worst tyre to the better tyre because I feel like I'm getting something for going
so
through my
your
pit stop, and I
strategy
feel
is
better.
it's one lap on hard tyres and all other it's for soft.
Maybe that would be good, or at least the medium tire or something. Yeah, and stay out of trouble on that first lap. That might be my approach. Maybe I'm a bit too shy on the first lap.
Sorry, guys. I
to
just
see
want to say
everybody's support.
that I can see that Fluffy Butt have no fuel to have a full lap, so he should economize some, and Bollybrook also. So it can be really interesting finish. But
Yeah.
Mikhailenko, as I know, have a lot of fuel. Without problem, he can go and no problem. But Fluffy Butt and Bollybrook should economy a bit because
Oh, Bollybrook. And he's coming to the pits as well, so he will be really, really regretting that decision to not fuel up on the previous opportunity, unless he's switching back onto soft tyres. I wonder. Well, there's no reason not to go onto soft tyres now and to just run that one lap. but I think he had to come in and he just miscalculated his fuel. So
And-
Dorin now in third
Yes,
position.
Dorin
Fred
has
in
real
fourth,
chance.
Spirit, Krichko, Zadlin, Sniper, all promoted thanks to that strategic error perhaps from Bollybrook.
So Victor Dorin at this moment has real chance to get third place. He was a long time behind all these guys, but now he's third. Unbelievable race from him, but we practically didn't see him on the track, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just looking through everybody else's fuel situation. Most drivers have got enough fuel. There are a few others on red, and there's still 3 sectors to go in this lap, in this final lap of the race. Down in the in 13th position is GTR, who started in 3rd, so he's really faded in this race, but he's got plenty of fuel and he's challenging now for 12th position. Chernolutsky looks to the inside, doesn't cover the move too well, but GTR just doesn't quite have the overlap. Meanwhile, at the head of the field, we've still got Mikhailenko still leading Fluffy Butt, but I think we still have a strong battle there between the two drivers. Oh, Mikhailenko pulling away now, 1.2 seconds, and I'm sure that makes you feel a lot better, KYIV.
Yes, what a nice strategy from this guy. In every single moment he know what he must to do, and now he's the first man on track, so geniusly, of course, strategy and work behind the wheel from this Ukrainian driver. So as I hear in my ears, so maybe South African driver must to push himself, his car, to the finish line because he needs some fuel.
Yes. He's going to hit low fuel mode, isn't he? And it's going to be like driving in the pit lane on that low fuel mode. Victor Dorin might be able to secure here. He's got a 10.5 second gap to Fluffy, but let's see if that suddenly drops. But Fluffy Butt will be driving like he's driving a Formula E car at the moment, trying to find a way to get that fuel to pick up, and praying that he can get to the end. But he'll be very, very gentle on the accelerator, short shifting through the gears, lifting heavily, and it's just dropped a second to Dorin on that previous few corners. So will he make the end? Mikhailenko, though, about to enter the very final sector of this second race of the day, and it looks like at the moment Ukraine are going to win the first 2 races.
Yes, it's very interesting, and I'm proud for it, but we still didn't see third race, the main, the fastest, the more hottest. I want to tell, because that drivers 2 or more than 2 seconds per lap are quicker.
Here comes
quicker
Mikhailenko then, weaving across the line,
Yes,
and Mikhailenko
yes,
will
yes.
win the race and complete a double victory for the Ukraine. Fluffy Butt crosses the line 3 seconds later, and it's Dorin who will make it a Ukraine 1-3 here on this Independence Day celebration. And coming up to the line, wow, it's Fred versus Spiruk, and it's 4th and 5th in that order, but it was so close, 0.05 of a second separating them. Kruchko comes in 6th, and we have Bollybrook on that difficult strategy in 7th. Sniper, Jadlin, followed by Hi-Fi Man in 10th. And it looks like we're going to get Sindri home in 11th, and Chernolutsky will bring that Genesis, I think, home in 12th, unless GTR can find a way through. I don't think so. GTR will bring us home at the rear in 13th position, but it's Mikhailenko, your victor today in the race 2 of tonight.
Really, really nice race it was. So let's prepare for the main race number 3 of this evening. Mikhailenko is our winner. So Vladislav Mikhailenko from Ukraine, winner of race number 2. Fluffy Butt 2nd, Victor Dorin 3rd, Puma Racing Fred 4th, Spurik, Kruchko, Bollybrook, and Puma Sniper 8th. Jadlun, Hi-Fi Man, Sindri, Chernolutsky, Puma Racing GTR, and GTMA Ovich. He has DNF, so we didn't see him at this race.
A fantastic race there for this Ukraine Independence Day. That was Group 2, and then we have the main event coming up for you very soon. But I think we'll be taking a short break while we reorganize all of our drivers and a new lobby. But don't go anywhere. Keep the stream running. Bring your friends in for the big final race of the night tonight. And we're celebrating a fantastic group of drivers who are here to support the race for Ukraine. We'll be back very shortly for you, but just bear with us while we have a short pause.
The chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't I'm so gone, no, I'm never turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so on, you're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared.
Welcome back, everybody. We are back to get underway for racing, and this is the main event. This is the final race of today. Although, do make sure that you set a reminder to tune in tomorrow for the same iRacing version of our celebration races here on this channel. But we're getting underway and ready for our race. The fastest driver in the qualifying from last week, Lysenko, and Fletcher, who were very close to one another in their pre-qualifying session, will take us lead the likely leaders of this qualifying session. 10 minutes, 2 fast laps they will only have to try and make a difference out here at Saint Croix configuration C. We've already got some drivers on the track, and we can't wait, KYIV, to see what the drivers can do for us to put on a show here as our final race of tonight.
Wow, it's very easy. Anton Lysenko, because he had 3:25.8. It was his time last week, so he was really quicker than every other guys. Maxim Feshchenko, or also known as Fletcher, was second, 3:25.9 his time was. So these guys very close one to other. Sort of actually
Absolutely,
was,
but they won't have this all to themselves. We have 6 Ukrainian drivers ready to take us on, but we also have 2 fast here for the DRC team who's first out on track, the German driver. We have a Frenchman, Reda, and we also have the very quick AG27. We have the Brit AG27 from Spain in the distinct color scheme, and they've also fantastically this week they've added a little splash of blue and yellow just behind the front wheels. Then we have the bizarre Minardi VW Beetle of Lionesi in 4th position on track at the moment anyway for Great Britain. And then we have for the DRC team and the German DRC team, the fabulously liveried McLaren of Gary in 5th position. Then we have a trio at least of Ukrainian drivers, Volynkin, Dedachuk, and the fastest driver in pre-qualifying, Lysenko, followed on track by Fletcher. And then we have Borovsky as well, who is bucking the trend a little bit and having no yellow on his car in 10th. The South African Mac. This is our most international race as well. So Mac in the what's now the traditional South African racing VGT. And then we have 2 Icelanders, Dimi and David Adams, in the color schemes of the Ukrainian flag as well. Brilliant, beautiful livery of David Adams. He's gone to a lot of effort here. Behind him, Momot for the Ukraine as well in a pink cherry blossom liveried car there as well in 14th. And then at the tail of the field on track, at least, a VGT. It's a South African VGT, but it's got an unusual split livery. It's got the South African rainbow flag and it's got the Ukraine national flag on the front half. What do you think to that, KYIV?
it's Independence Day of Ukraine, so why not? Everyone wants wants this livery for his car. So have really big thanks for all these guys who did their job. It's some time in this way, Ukraine and South African colors. Oh, what a nice, some smooths, yes. And this car, crazy. But
we were saying 90. We didn't think during the qualifying last week. We were saying I don't think he left any stickers in the box. He just threw every sticker he could find about this livery.
Yes, I remember this moment because today I listened this qualification from you and Georgi. A lot of thanks, Georgi, for some conversation from you and from him, of course. So you guys worked very well, but let's see what will be today. So first driver on our, so I can understand that it was outgoing lap from DRC, yes, to DRC to fast. So it's first.
Everybody
fast,
now
yes.
on their first
yes,
flying lap, exactly.
Flying lap, of course. So very long track. And what are you? What time is these guys can show, I don't know, 325 for Lysenko and Fletcher Feshchenko. And
I'm hoping we might see a first 24. I'm hoping we might get a 324 tonight from one of our drivers in qualifying. So I'm really hoping for that.
24th of August? Really interesting.
That'll be good.
Why not? Why not? Really great numbers. Maybe even 324, 999. It's still 324.
Absolutely. And just to remind everyone, if you're just joining us, just make sure that you've liked the video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've shared the video on socials. And before we get underway with our first time lapse here completed, make sure that you consider whether you can donate to the cause today, which is for sim racing Ukraine. And you can find a way to support us one way or the other, either through the description, through the QR code, or just by telling your friends to come and watch this fantastic race here tonight with our fastest international drivers here for this fantastic cause as well. What a great livery this one is as well from Volinkin. I love this.
Yes, very, very nice McLaren. Looks like P1. It was in 2014, but now it's 650 model with Ukrainian symbolic on the roof. Wow, nice car. I love it.
A chrome stripe down the middle as well. Very, very tasty looking. Here we have then Lysenko, and he's gone for a Japanese drink sponsor, I think, on the side of the car, as well as the correct color scheme for tonight's racing, of course. Lysenko, the hot favorite here to take the fastest line. I wonder though, Fletcher would really love to push him, and an all gold Genesis with Dedachuk, who's gone for that particular livery with, of course, all the appropriate digital Autosport of Ukraine logos and sponsors on the car as well. Let us know in the chat before we get underway too deeply into this session what your favorite livery is of that you've seen throughout tonight. And we will obviously, the drivers will love to hear that they've made the top 3 in terms of liveries, as well as enjoyed their racing here tonight. Fastest time from Too Fast immediately. He goes faster. Redder goes faster still. Next up through comes AG27, and he goes into 3rd position. Lionessi, we're still waiting on Lysenko, who goes second only. Redder managed to get that fast lap in, and Lysenko on his first flying lap on the soft tyres has gone second. Fletcher's just behind him as well in 3rd position. Mack goes through in 7th. Dedachuk has settled in 8th place, but this group, KYIV, much closer than the first 2 races we've seen tonight.
Yes, it will be the most unpredictable maybe qualification, and after this race, because I even can't understand who from our guys or from our drivers will be the best on a series of laps on this track. Not only 1 lap, but 12. They need to get together and will get winner's trophy.
Absolutely. Well, Redder currently with the fastest time of 3:26.2, but we know that several of these drivers can definitely go faster than that, and I think that they're just keeping some life left in the tires. Magnus Arneson gives us some feedback, and nice to have you, Magnus, but he says he'd love to see more trackside cameras from the broadcast. We will try and get that, but during the race, I think, during the qualifying, we'd love to see the details of everybody's lap and give you the best impression of speed and how the laps are running. And we also like to have a little close-up look at all the liveries. Whoa. Round goes Redder that time, who just overcooked it, so he will not be able to defend that fastest lap. And it's advantage, I think, Lysenko and Fletcher, who have the opportunity to go faster. They won't know that just happened to Redder, but a big error in that 3rd sector.
He destroyed his chances for the 1st place, but who knows, maybe he still defend his position not by his pace, but pace from his opponents. Wow, yeah.
Lysenko's pushing hard as well, lighting up the rear of the car.
Yes, it's not the best way for him. By the way, last lap he he got 272 kilometers per hour, and I think it was the fastest speed today. So let's see, couple of straights and 200 and almost 60. So his opponent physically on track far ahead. So 272 again, maybe it's maximum speed of this car. Another car from Fletcher, yes, he was slower, something like 3 kilometers per hour, and maybe it's the main reason why he slower than Lysenko, just 26 hundredths of a second, as I can see.
And the
But
final
let's see.
few corners then for Too Fast, who is in 4th position at the moment, 9/10 of a second away, and he runs almost 4 wheels off the track at the final corner, pushing really hard. Can he improve on his 4th place? Albeit temporary, he can, up to 3rd position, gets in between Fletcher and Lysenko onto the 2nd row of the grid for Too Fast, but we still have the fastest drivers still to come. Lysenko runs the same line on the final corner coming out, and we know he had a wide moment previously. Can he get there? Redder, and it's Volinkin who goes 2nd. Volinkin up to 2nd position. Lysenko down to 3rd after the proceedings. AG27 is in 6th. Can we see anybody else's lap finishing up? We've got Gary for the DRC team from Germany trying to find his way through here. He's obviously, like everybody else, on their final lap. And Gary is dropping down as Max sets a new personal best. He moves up ahead. He stays 10th, sorry. Lysenko's in 3rd position. Borowski is in 7th. Gary, though, can he get him moved? Wow, up to 2nd position. A 1.2 second gain for Gary, and he manages to get himself up onto the front row next to the Frenchman Redder for GTMA, who didn't improve his 2nd lap, but it was the 1st lap was good enough, KYIV.
Of course, we'll see very interesting race. It was some narrowly qualifying session for Ukrainian drivers, but 3rd and 4th position, I think it's still very good places, especially maybe 3rd place for Volinkin. Volinkin was 3rd last week, so he can win race 2. Why not?
Absolutely. Well, it's all to play for. It was the fastest time by Redder, a 3:26.2. They didn't quite get as much, I think, out of the cars as they did in pre-qualifying last week, but Gary's in 2nd place. Big move from Gary, with Volinkin and Lysenko, the Ukrainian drivers, on the 2nd row of the grid. And we will start our race very soon. And there's just a message from race control to say 1 minute to go. Volinkin, Lysenko, 3rd and 4th, then Too Fast in 5th, a 3:26.7. And how close are those drivers? Just 0.3 of a second separating P3 all the way down to P6, which is Fletcher. Then we have AG27 in 7th. Borowski is in 8th on a 27.5. Then Branowin with a really strong lap in that qualifying session at the very end, moving himself up to 9th place. Then we have Momot, Mack, and Dedachuk, your top 12. Grid start coming up. Racing hards have to be used 1 lap at least, and we saw an interesting strategy happen in the previous one. The race start has been hit, and we will be grid side, track side in about 3 seconds time. Let me have in the chat, let me have your support for the drivers. Let me hear who is popular or which countries are being well spectated today in our chat as we get ready for the race and we get underway. The lights will be on very soon and we will do our best to try and track everybody's performance. It's Redder on the inside, P1 in the red and black, and it's Gary in the yellow-nosed, chrome-sided McLaren as we go up to 4 lights, 5 lights, and it's time to build the revs and to drop the clutch and go from the start. Volinkin with a lightning start down the inside, looking to challenge Redder already, who is stuck in the middle. Volinkin, 2 McLarens going for the lead of the race. Lysenko with a good launch as well, but at the moment it's Gary who takes the lead, goes through turn 1, heads towards the braking zone of turn 2. Redder forced to the inside, big lock up and a spin that time, right from the front of the circuit. That was Too Fast who got it wrong, and there's the South African tailing driver who spins in the background, and it is all going on. It's all crazy chaos at the start here, KYIV.
Whoa, I think it was Anton Lysenko who lose this first corner, yes?
Yeah.
Because we have Volinkin and Fletcher at the top, so whoa. But it's still a good chance for Maxim Feshchenko. It's real name of Fletcher, and he was very quick last week. Now maybe he was not so quick in this qualification, but now he has Volinkin as some opponent for his opponent from another country, as I can see. But Reda got second
what
place.
a great move from Reda,
what,
right round the outside there.
What a
And
race
with the
from
tail up
him,
as well
man.
is Borowski.
And what a race from
Fantastic
this.
drama at the start. Gravel
Drama.
being kicked out by the McLaren who makes an error, and it's Fletcher at the head of the field. Who would have picked him from P5 or P6 to be leading this race into the second sector? It's Reda in second place. It's Borowski, Volonkin, and AG27 in fifth position. Momot, Mack, and Leonesi down into eighth position, with Lysenko with a huge mountain to climb now to get back to the front of this race.
But every time it was very hard for Ukraine all these 32 years to defend our independence, and this is time for honor for Ukrainian drivers, and who knows what can do Anton Lysenko. So everything can happen in this race, especially in this moment when another driver, DTMA Reda, tried to keep pace and push hard to Fletcher. So what a race, what a battle. I think it's real what we must do see this Independence evening.
There's Lysenko with a 5-second off throttle penalty, as well as Reda down the outside, uses the slipstream down this longest straight of the race, and Fletcher took straight back in behind Reda. They'll be slipstreaming back and forth. They'll be helping each other to move forward away from the rest of the grid, but hard tires on Fletcher, and he had the lead of the race. I wonder if he changes his strategy now and goes, maybe runs a couple of laps here before switching to the mediums and one-stopping this race now that he's got that amazing track position at the head of the field. How did he do that on lap one on cold hard tires? I will never know.
But anyway, you think that it's a perfect strategy, especially for you, that hard yes, the worst tires.
Maybe he was
from-
listening. Maybe I gave him the idea.
Of course, why not? You work for Ukrainian guys. I really like it.
Sure, I'm sure he knew his strategy well ahead. He's the expert, not me. And so going on through, Fletcher decides not to go into the pit lane, and why would he at the moment? His pace is strong. Reda, I believe, is on the soft tires and starting to pull away a little bit, but not a huge amount. Fletcher is in a great position here, and he can have the medium tire window, I think, will open at the end of this lap if he can be conservative. If he wants to be aggressive, he can go into lap 3 and change the tires. But here comes Borowski coming up behind Fletcher now on the soft tires, and you can see the pace difference. What news of Lysenko? I don't know where he is. He's outside of the top 8 at the moment with that 5-second off throttle penalty. A difficult job, just got nearly impossible with that 5-second penalty.
Yes, from hero to zero, unfortunately for our driver. But we still have another 5 drivers, so every of them try to get at least 2 of 3 positions on the podium, as it was last race.
One of our chat members, our audience members, Degent Souls, says Reda is the quickest GranTurismo
Whoa,
racer in the
whoa.
Morocco, and Dedachuk spinning out onto the gravel. Leonesi with a sympathy spin as well. Just trying to avoid contact. Dedachuk with a problem in the gravel. Leonesi trying to avoid trouble. Had his own moment there, and both of them down to behind Branowin. And Dimi and Mack in 13th and 14th. I believe that probably let Lysenko go through, but it doesn't help Lysenko jump any further up the grid as we go back through. No, Lysenko is down in 15th position, as now half a second penalty on Dimi, the Icelandic driver on Dimi's car here. So it's Lysenko down in 15th. I think maybe, did Lysenko start on hard tires and has gone in for a pit stop as well? Let's have a look. He is 44 seconds off the lead. That to me seems like someone on brand new soft tires, and he's changed tires. He's gone onto soft tires already. And now we'll see what kind of pace Lysenko can manage. I wonder, I didn't have time. I don't know if anybody saw what tires Lysenko was on from the start. I didn't have time to check, but Reda leads
Not
the
the
field
best
on
pace
P1.
he has actually. 44.0 behind leader, 44.1, 44.2, so not the best tendency actually for Anton Lysenko, but still we will see what he can do on this and next laps from our race.
Exactly, and Ukraine currently are in 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 7th positions, so a very strong showing, but they're trying to do the triple here and make it a 3-win from 3 race in GranTurismo, and that will pile all the pressure even further on the iRacing races for tomorrow. And here is AG27 in the beautiful, distinct livery on his car as well. Was that a little problem there for one of the drivers? But Gary in the sticker happy car in for the DLC in P6. David Adams, the Icelander, in P8 with Too Fast in P9. Branowin in 10th. Then comes Dedachuk in the Genesis. And we go through to see Dimmy in 13th, Mack in 14th, but it's still a really competitive, tightly packed field as they start lap 2. The leaders start lap 2, and Lysenko looks to start dropping that gap as far as possible. But the soft tyres for the top 2 in the race, Fletcher, remember, starting on the hard tyres.
Yes, very interesting moment of the race, because it's time for stable for our drivers. Reda got some got some advantages, but Volinkin, what a risky moment again and again. Every lap we have some problems in Ukrainian from Ukrainian drivers. Lysenko, then it was the driver who get 12th position. Now it's about Volinkin, so very hard start of this race for Ukrainian drivers. But who knows, maybe we still need to keep calm. At least some guys, Borovsky, Fletcher and Volinkin, now to try to get podium places. Because DRC Gary,
I think Fletcher's in a good, really good
very
position here.
Yeah,
I see Fletcher in a great position here. If he fits the mediums, I think that'll be a perfect strategy. Potentially, he may decide though to use just hards and softs, but one more pit stop will be the ideal way to go racing for Fletcher. It's just about having the minimum amount of time on those hard tires that you can put up with. As Dedachuk is in 11th, he's quickly chased now by Leonesi and by Dimmy. So he's got a British driver and a Icelandic driver behind him, and a little bit further back, you'll find Mack for South Africa as well. And
of course, interesting
see.
triple battle, of course. And by the way,
Absolutely.
as we saw last races, first pit stop was at 5th lap, so let's see who will be first of our drivers. Maybe Reda, maybe some of Ukrainian drivers, Fletcher, who knows? But it's only 15 kilometers before we will know this information. So let's wait. Let's wait for more interesting battle.
Yeah, because we saw that the soft tires could run as many as 6 laps for the drivers, and some of them decided to go for 5 laps and 5 laps, or 5 laps and 6 laps on the soft, and then just use the hards once. Here comes Gary with the slipstream down that long straight. We have 0 wind on the racetrack, so no wind conditions to worry the drivers at all. Down the inside,
conditions, of course.
Brilliant maneuver there from Gary to consolidate that maneuver up to P4 then for him, and Volinkin demoted to 5th, but only 14 seconds away from the lead of the race, and that's not a lot when it comes to strategy still to come, especially as Volinkin also on the hard tires from the start of the race and has barely used them so far. If you're new to GranTurismo, you can see the tire wear on the lower left corner on the white rectangles with the red tread wear is what the tires have used. And so when we click to a driver that is on soft tires, you'll see that they've used virtually half the available grip on the soft tires so far in this race into lap 3, whereas the hard drivers have barely used their tires at all. And we ride on board then with Volinkin right on his bonnet, which gets a lot of interesting comments online when people talk about riding on the bonnet cam and what perception that actually gives you from a driver's point of view. I really like racing in the cockpit. I don't know about you, KYIV. What's your favorite? How do you like to go racing?
Well, I want to say about camera view. Of course, it's my favorite from bonnet in drive. When I'll drive in some rallies. So it's the main for me, not this one, but another from bonnet. And GTC race or race this format. Actually, I don't know. As for me, it's very, very hard to keep concentrate every single lap and try to push. I don't know. Maybe after 30 minutes after beginning of the race, very, very hot conditions for me. It was very hard, and after that I'll try to do my best and get some mistakes. So very, very hard actually conditions in this kind of racing. So I don't know how these guys try to and did their job, because it's something unbelievable.
Yeah, this pace is amazing. It looked like Mac might have been going for a move there on Lionesi. I think Mac made the move on Lionesi, made that stick for 11th position. A personal best time then for Lysenko at the rear of the field on new soft tyres. He is trying to action the biggest undercut possible to try and get through past these drivers who are all going to pit in front of him. However, Lysenko will have to pit again, I'm certain, because he won't get those soft tyres to the end of the race. The window is open, in my opinion, only to pit onto the medium tyres now if you have already used the hard tyre. So the likes of Fletcher, of Volinkin, might consider the medium tyre now, especially as Fletcher's pace is so strong, whereas Redder and Borovsky are on the soft tyres from the start, and they will have to stop twice, in my opinion, unless they put hards on now or in the next 2 laps. Then they can run, but it is a slow way to go racing in the second half of the race if you're using those hard tyres.
Fletcher,
I wonder, if you know Cavery and the audience know what Fletcher means in the UK. So
I remember some football players with this name.
So it's in the UK we often have surnames that are connected to jobs. So you have the surname,
of course.
You have the surname Farmer, or something like that. Whereas Fletcher is a maker of arrows, so like a bow and arrow for kind of medieval war equipment. Fletcher is the description of someone who makes arrows for bows. So we have all manner of different surnames like that for activities and for jobs. But I'm intrigued why a Ukrainian driver would use the name Fletcher. It's interesting to me. Volinkin comes into the pits then off those hard tyres, and I wonder what tyres is he going to fit? Will he go for the mediums, or will he decide on 2 sets of softs? Let's see. He's dropped down. He's got the fuel going in for the end of the race. I believe he's gone for soft tyres. Wow. So he's going to try and run 7 laps here.
Yellow marking of tyres. So it means soft?
No, it's just it depends on the manufacturer of the tyre. There's no good indicator for us visually. You just have to wait till you see it on the car, on the graphic here, to see what they've gone for. So unfortunately, there's no nice color coded tyre walls. Those are those are just for F1, I think. So there is Dedachuk, and he's defending from Dimi, in the Supra. Dimi going down the inside. Dedachuk leaves the gap to the inside, doesn't want to have an accident, but ends up with a faster route through the corner. and we'll have this position 10 for a few corners now. Oh, he just goes a little bit wrong. Dimi leaves the door open. Dimi couldn't jump down the inside, but Dedachuk clearly still struggling on the hard tyres, puts a wheel, 2 wheels, 4 wheels now onto the gravel, just saves the car, racing in car number 63. And there you see Lysenko go through. He's now in P11 as some of the pit stops start to action.
Yes, 11th place, so he can be in top 10, but what position he will get? Let's see. It's very, very hard race for Anton Lysenko. He could be first on the start. No, he wasn't, but after that he tried to be first on the road, but again he wasn't. So very, very struggle race for Anton Lysenko. And now
Absolutely.
he's
And
11th
here is
position.
Reda.
It's bad for him.
Here is Reda, 8.5 seconds in the lead of the race from Borovsky, who's on the same soft tyres. And with this kind of gap, Reda can now start managing the gap and managing the car and the tyres behind him. So he can be pretty careful here and still hold on to that gap. And just in the background, from the back of Borovsky, you can see Fletcher, just a small dot on the horizon as it looks like Borovsky's struggling out of the tight hairpin there. The tail getting out a little bit on the back of the Toyota.
He has his tires in bad conditions, especially front, right and left, as I can see. So very hard to try keep his position on track, and of course this ideal lines. So maybe it's time for a pit stop from him, and he will be first driver on pit.
Could be indeed, as he comes towards the pit lane. Will he shake to the right? That was Reda who made the decision to stay out. He's got plenty of tyre life left though, but Borovsky is struggling hugely.
Yes,
and he doesn't go in the pits.
No.
I was expecting the pit stop because all the time he's sliding, K-Berry, he's losing time, and
yes,
he would be better on better tyres.
Yes, he's sliding in every single corner, at least 10 or 12 laps, so it will be very hard for this driver. No. Bad decision from him.
Gary who's moving forward as well. Now on the soft tyres, Gary has moved ahead of Fletcher, who needs to not let Reda get too far ahead, because I think Fletcher's still got a chance here. He's running the opposite strategy to Reda.
Like new.
Like new, indeed, on the hard tyres. So he's going to run, I think, here till lap 7. And then he will make a choice to go onto soft tyres, just
4
use
or
a
5 laps.
one-stop race.
It's ideal strategy, as I can.
He'll be the opposite of Reda. So Reda will be fast this stint, slow the next one, and then Fletcher will be slow this stint and fast at the end of the race. Now, that is just a balancing act and not letting Reda get too far ahead and following as close as possible, while keeping those hard tyres alive and getting to that target lap of lap 7 to change onto softs.
Looks like cat versus mouse.
Absolutely.
Who will
Here
be
is
first?
Mac in the 7th position for South Africa in the VGT for Peugeot. He's chasing down Volinkin. I think, if I remember right, Volinkin also started on the hard tyres. So he'll be hoping to move forward in the latter half of our race. We have hit the halfway point now of the race. And all drivers still with us, I believe, all on the lead lap. There's one guy right at the back who has had a problem, but Lysenko's up to P9. And he's only, 47 seconds there or thereabouts from the leader. That he hasn't closed that down too much, but he likewise hasn't let the leader get too far away. But he's on the soft tyres. That means one more pit stop for Lysenko. The same number of pit stops as nearly everybody in front of him. And a really big disappointment for Lysenko tonight, I feel.
Yes, and as you can see, he was very close to barriers, so he tried to be risky on track, and maybe it's not his pace. So I don't know, but something went wrong for him.
Yeah, it was all in that
yes.
the second corner, I suppose, because the first corner is not really much of a corner on this track. The second corner, he appeared to be have a problem on the brakes, and starting on, if he did start on hard tires, that's not a big surprise that he couldn't get the braking performance from a grid start on hard tires. It's very hard. So if he did start on hards, then that was probably the cause of his problem. Wow, very close to the barriers, goes too fast as well. He's pushing hard, and David Adams is just behind him as well, watching on and hoping to catch and move on. We saw some praise for David Adams' livery there, and this is a really interesting livery to stick on a VW Beetle. It's the Minardi Formula One team that the Toro Rosso
like
and then
PS01,
AlphaTauri.
You want to say?
Yeah,
In times of Fernando Alonso.
exactly. It's just very strange to put all that on a Volkswagen. Here comes your leader then. Reda is in the pits
maybe the
with
same
Borowski.
as Minardi in that times. Who knows?
Yeah, and Fletcher has come into the pits. That is ahead of plan for me, but he should be able to get the end of the race. So both strategies have happened at once in the pit lane.
50% of racing distance was he used hard tires, and another distance. Very interesting what he can do now. And next 6 laps.
So Gary has the lead of the race now. Gary at the head of the field for the DRC team and for Germany, but only 6.7 seconds in the lead. So he can enjoy that, but he's got a pit stop to make. Indeed, so good catch there from Hyogi. He says that Reda has gone for a second set of soft tires, so doesn't want to use the hard tires. He wants that pace, and he's going to run this soft hard option, which is really unusual.
But he was really fast on this track, so maybe Reda know something that don't know you or another guys on this track. So Reda has really potential to win this race, and at least to be the biggest winner today at in the Independence evening of Ukraine, of course. So let's see. Interesting situation, and what we can answer to this French or Morocco driver.
Exactly. With Borowski then in third, Fletcher is in fourth position, and
maybe even Fletcher has better chances.
Yeah, I think Fletcher's still in a good shot here, but he has to make those tires last a little bit longer than Reda, and he needs to keep an eye on that gap to Reda. That's who he is facing, and he's being held up here, Fletcher, by Borowski. And I feel that maybe the Ukrainian fans are willing Borowski to move aside here, because Fletcher is the guy with the pace, and Borowski is holding him up a little bit and moving to the inside. Fletcher down the inside at the end of the bridge straight, and moves up forward. His gap to Reda is 16 seconds, and we know Reda has to pit again. So Fletcher still has a good chance of winning this race for Ukraine.
So go Fletcher! We believe in you, of course, in your driving skills. You must be the fastest man on track. Next couple laps, and I think that he can do it. He believes in his driving skills too, and let's see. Just 5 laps or 4 laps, yes, before GTMA Reda must do his pit stop. So let's see. It looks like 3 seconds per lap Fletcher need. From this moment, if he want to do this overtaking maneuver on the track, or if just GTMA Reda just leave track to get his mechanics, maybe he needs to.
It's fascinating. Gary pits now. Reda retakes the head of the field. What's really interesting to me is from a driver's perspective, from Fletcher in the cockpit, he does not know what strategy Reda is on. He can't see the tires. He doesn't know the strategy. So from his perspective, all he knows is the gap to Reda, and he needs to close it in. As Gary returns out of the pits, can't have fueled that car for very long. Must be running a too soft stint or something, because Gary, very slow away, but he can't have put a lot of fuel in that car to come out of the pits the way he did. And he's twitching and struggling on the way out of the pits as well, is Gary in P3. It's the hard tyres into that all-important turn 2. We've seen it again, a real struggle to get those hard tyres up to temperature. So Fletcher, he will feel like he has to catch Redder and pass him, and then he'll get a big surprise when Redder pits for hard tyres at the end.
I think that Gary forgot that his tires are cold after his pit exit, so maybe this is the main reason for his mistake, or maybe some mistakes after he leave his mechanics. Who knows? But very, very strange situation. At least every driver's on the track right now.
Absolutely. Well, there is Momot, and he's got some support in the chat as well. Momot in 6th position and trying to get out of that tricky corner. And if we have been saying Frenchman for Redder, that is in error. He is Moroccan, and we will try and remember that he is a Moroccan driver, Redder, one of the fastest in Morocco for sim racing on the GT7 platform. Momot holding off here, but he's got a very, very busy racetrack behind him. Amazing.
By the way, I don't know organizers has a Moroccan national anthem or not. By the way,
that's a good point. Yes, indeed, we need to quickly train the band to play the right tunes at the end of proceedings. But AG27 getting a little bit wild in the Renault on the way out of that all-important corner that leads onto the bridge straight. There is David Adams in the beautiful beautiful Ukrainian livery, and then passed behind by Leonesi Mack. Here is Lysenko in 13th at the moment, and he's having a fun race overtaking anyway. Even if he's not at the head of the field, he's putting in a huge effort, and he's trying to stay in the wheel tracks of the drivers in front and have fun overtaking.
But anyway, will he finish 13th or not? But this place, it's your number for this race, of course. Number
Here
13,
is the leader.
So not lucky, yeah. And GTMA race 16 seconds, so the same gap than it was last lap. So at least Fletcher in the same pace at this moment.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
of course,
so Fletcher not letting him get away. Maybe 1/10, 2/10, 3/10 catching through that section.
Not so
Fletcher
big, actually.
does have a good amount of pace here. He needs to try and keep Redder. He doesn't know this, but he needs to keep Redder inside of 20 seconds away from him, because Redder has to pit for hard tyres. There is a best lap of the race, a 3:25.4. And
it's new record.
3:25s. It's a new record. It's faster than qualifying.
Yes,
how do they do this with the track evolution and good tires? But he's still got half a tank of fuel. Very, very good.
Yes, last week was 3:25.792, and this time, more than 3.
What's happening is before in the pre-qualifying, they ran for a long period to try and get the best track position and to burn off the fuel. Now in race trim, they're going faster than they did in qualifying, because in qualifying you have to start with a full tank of fuel. Crazily for GranTurismo, very strange situation that they leave us with, where you have to qualify and start on full fuel regardless of your strategy. So as the fuel burns off and the drivers have still got life in those soft tires, and the track is getting faster because it's getting more rubber down and the temperatures are working, the laps are dropping. And I still think we might see a 3:24 today.
3:24. It's only 0.5 of second needed Fletcher or maybe GTMA Redder on the last lap, yes, after his pit, but I don't think so, because his tires will be cold, still very cold.
Yes.
On this moment.
Yes, and we keep seeing drivers have a problem into turn 2 the cold hard tires. But maybe there's a chance in the next lap or two for drivers on soft tires to get a better lap. Dimi won't be one of those right now, though, as he puts 2 wheels into the gravel, and he will be vulnerable to his Icelandic countryman, David Adams, behind, who is catching now, and it will be an Icelandic battle for P9, maybe a Viking battle for P9.
Yes, it's Icelandic championship.
Yes. So hopefully they'll keep it clean and they'll keep it fair. And car number 84 then of David Adams. I have to say, I think this one gets my nomination for best livery of the day so far. It's number 10, P10, David Adams in car 84. Love it.
Yes, really nice race, but anyway, I like I like car Mini, Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle. And
right.
Really interesting car. So yes, that's
this one gets your vote.
unbelievable model on the racetrack. First of all, and
but
another.
Where is the Ukrainian flag on that one?
Well, maybe
just
in
a
the
little Ukrainian
salon, maybe.
Well, Leonesi in 11th position.
Where is it?
Well, he's got a blue interior, and there on the dash there's a little bit of yellow on the dashboard, so maybe that counts.
But
it's
anyway,
the most distinctive, strangest race car interior on the game.
By the way, a lot of thanks our South African drivers. Today evening, I want to say that this is South Ukrainian African drivers, maybe something like that. But just only for this evening. We don't need more territory than we have, actually, so it's not a problem for Ukraine. Anyway, very interesting.
Fantastic work, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
it's
a
great
great
to
job.
see all this representation, and everybody who's attending, everybody who's watching. They're all here to support Ukraine, of course, and just make sure that that you consider a donation to Ukrainian sim racing, or use the hashtag Race for Ukraine if you can. If you want to support us, leave a like, leave a subscribe on the channel, and we would love to receive your support. And this means a lot. KYIV, this race and this audience and these drivers, it means a lot to the country of Ukraine.
Yes, it was great. It was great what you doing, guys. So I hope still we have a great chance for this victory in this situation, of course, in these conditions.
Of course. Well, 16.1 seconds is the lead of our Moroccan driver Reda at the head of the field, but he still has to pit for the hard tyres before the end of the race, and it looks like he's going to do that at the end of lap 11. Fletcher will hopefully take the lead if he can keep his focus, keep his concentration towards the end, and then we will have a battle. Reda on hard, cold tyres for 1 lap against Fletcher on old, soft tyres that are up to temperature. This is going to be really fascinating in the next 2 laps to see who we can crown as the Group 1 and final winner of today. Don't forget that the racing isn't over for the Ukrainian Independence Day. We have the iRacing races tomorrow on the same place on this channel, and I think it's the same time as well for the evening's racing. Here then is a strong contender for best livery for me. Volinkin with the chrome stripe on the McLaren with the split livery, and representing his colours very well, representing his country brilliantly on the podium as well. We could potentially see a double podium here for Ukraine in the final race of the day, but Gary has dropped down, having now fitted the hard tyres. He's dropped down, but that's a good looking car as well.
At least he is in fourth place, so not bad actually for him. And Borovsky, who has 5th position, so maybe it's the main battle on the track, I want to tell, because for position we don't have any battles in first and second, but it's still potentially fight for first and second. And this way, Momot try to get, and he got it. AG27 by Momot Or not. AG27 tried to, yes, to get back his position.
Oh, terrific
Very
stuff.
strange.
Great side-by-side
Very
action.
strange movements from this
Yeah.
guy. I don't know what happened with his. Well,
It looks impossible. It
Yes.
looks impossible. But 7th place Momot has got no tyres left. Absolutely no tyres. He's about to run out on the front left. So AG27, if we ride on board with AG27, everything will look smooth. It's because of his connection to our servers today that he looks a bit crazy. But from his perspective, he's driving just normally and everything's going fine. But he moves around and he shakes around to try and find
front left
position on the
tire
track as well.
are gone. He's gone. Yes, his tire. And AG27 have a great chance and opportunity to get back his position, number 7.
What we
Until
saw in the
listen
previous
only
race,
can,
in
yeah.
race 2 of tonight, was we saw drivers running out of fuel. This race, this is the top tier, and I don't think anybody's going to make that same mistake. And if they were watching the race 2, they might nervously look at that and think, I'll just put a little bit more fuel in the car because I don't want to be in that same situation. Lysenko has arrived at 10th position. Fletcher now builds the speed and sets the fastest lap of the race. It's a 3:25.370 at the start. End of lap 10, he completes the new fastest lap of the race. So he is going quicker and he is on for a potential win here. Whether he knows it or not, he is on for a potential win on the cards as the Moroccan driver Reda still leads by 16.4 seconds.
And just 2 laps to go for our drivers, our leading drivers. Fletcher still can show time 3:24.999, who knows? And of course, GTMA Reda. Of course,
Reda
I hope.
with a pit stop left to make. So that's
So,
what we're waiting for.
It's the last
And
chance,
if-
or he can do it on the last 12th lap.
I think he has to do it at the end of this lap. He has to run one complete lap on the hard tire. So he can't do a cheeky Michael Schumacher
Yes.
approach. And that was outlawed in F1 the next race when he did that as well. He's taking his penalty in the pits. But for Reda, he must pit at the end of this lap. If not, I think the game will disqualify him because it is a requirement on the rules of the game. It's not just a requirement by our stewards today. It is a requirement.
No, we
on
need
the,
a clean
on the
win.
race server. Yeah.
We need clean win and
Exactly.
win on the track. It's
what
the
we
main
need.
important things for
Look at
every
the fuel
race.
on Reda's car as well. So he's going to have to stop for fuel as well as those tyres. Now that's interesting because that will delay him even further than just a straight tyre swap. So when he goes into the pits, he will go up on the jacks, the tyres will change, he'll come down again, and then you wait for the fuel, and he'll maybe fit 2 seconds worth of fuel, just enough to do that final lap. And as he comes out of the final corner, you'll see him hopefully go to the right-hand side of the track, peel into the pits, and he knows the rules. He's
Yes,
doing
he chose
everything
right.
required.
He chose the right way. Yeah.
Yes, soft, hard is his strategy, which we saw some drivers try and run in race 2, and it didn't work. But now we've got one of the pros, one of the top drivers doing this, and it is working. Fletcher now knows Reda's in the pits, and suddenly he will start to believe, KYIV, that he can take this win as Reda comes down off the jacks. He goes back,
Wow,
and there is the
what a
gap
race.
for the final lap of the race. We are going to have an absolute fantastic show here.
Yes. Maxim Feshchenko or Fletcher did a great job. He was the fastest man on the track, and now he'll have just 20, of course, less than 20 corners to get this win. We need this win. Every Ukrainian who see this race, I hope, believe in Fletcher. So, Fletcher, do it just right now.
So 3.8 seconds. Fletcher on old soft
Solid
tires
distance, of
that
course.
are way past their very best performance. However, Reda has come out of the pits on hard tires, and he's dropping back slightly as those hard tires come up to temperature. He'll need maybe the first sector and a half, but he's just passed now the sector barrier. And I think Fletcher is pushing. He's pushing hard here to try and hold on to this one, but he doesn't need to push too hard.
5
His
seconds.
fuel's a little bit low as well. 5.2 seconds, so Fletcher
Yes.
just needs to rein it in and make sure he doesn't overextend here and get too excited. But the win is on for Fletcher. The win is on for Ukraine.
So very small distance for Fletcher to do this, to bring home his first place. So, but anyway, we must know that if you want to finish first you must finish.
Absolutely. So it's far from over. It's far from finished. But it's 6 seconds now for Redder, and he's starting to see Volonkin catching him in his mirrors as well. Redder is suffering on this final lap, really suffering, and he needs to try and get some pace. Could Volonkin possibly get past in this final lap? That's another talking point as they go and they see the beautiful mountains at this Saint Croix circuit. Turn right next to go onto the longest straight of the circuit, and Volonkin will have a much better launch out of the corner. Volonkin has more fuel on the car even than Fletcher has right now.
But what about his left side of the car and left tires? Ooh.
It is tough. It is really tough. But closing out the penultimate sector of the race now is Fletcher, and he's getting down into the hairpin at the end of this long, flat-out section.
But spectators want
easy
to
miss
fight.
your braking.
Of course, spectators want to fight for the second position. Why not?
Totally. So Volonkin is pushing, and you could end up with a certainly, I hope, a double Ukraine podium here, if not a 1-2. We will see. But KYIV, as the Ukrainian commentator, as the Ukrainian driver is likely to win, you go ahead and you take the final few corners for our
and especially
our
24th
winner.
of August in this day, so it must be ours. This win, of course. So yeah, Fletcher or Maxim Feshchenko won this race. Well done. What a great performance of Ukrainian drivers. Of course, because Volynkin got third position. And of course, GTMA Reda, what a great battle with Ukrainian drivers. This is the race of the day. This is the race of the evening. So DRS Gary got his fourth position. And another Ukrainian drivers, Borovsky and Lysenko. Lysenko goes 6th. Another driver, a G27, 7th place. And another foreign drivers. David Adams.
Look at this, to the
and,
line. Momat has got an opportunity here.
But these drivers finished. So the race is over for these guys. And of course, very interesting livery. Leonesi, oh no, don't do it. You don't need his barrier.
Comes Dimi in 13th position. He'll take he's got a half-second penalty to pay on there. Dedachuk brings home another good result there for Ukraine. That was, I think, 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 6th for the Ukraine in this top split of racing. Dedachuk crosses the line in 14th position. And I think that's the last of our finishers still to cross the line. But it is all about Fletcher beating Redder with a superior strategy. He's got Ken Block overalls on as well. Fletcher wins with victory, with a clean race. A tremendous performance from Fletcher, who was second in pre-qualifying. He was 4th in qualifying tonight. But when it mattered, Fletcher came home and took the win for Ukraine.
Yes, Максим Фещенко, the best driver today. Отже, Максим Фещенко перемагає для України цей незабутній вечір 32-ї річниці здобуття Україною незалежності. З чим Максима ми вітаємо. Отже, Максиме, молодець, ти найкращий сьогодні. Віримо у перемогу і здобудемо її разом. So, best words to Fletcher. Second in this race, GTMA Reda. Third, another Ukrainian driver, Volynkin. DRC Gary 4th. 5th, Borovsky. 6th, Lysenko. Only 6th, but it's life, so what we can do. 7th, AG27. 8th DRC too fast. Yes, he was too fast. For David Adams, Momot, Mac, Leonesi, Dimmy, Dederchuk, and Brennevin. Brennevin did not finish this race.
Друзі, я вас всіх ще раз вітаю зі Святом Незалежності. Я дуже дякую нашим неймовірним ведучим Павлу, Вебо, Георгії, Івану дуже дякую за стрімінг. Отже, ми вітаємо всіх переможців у всіх 3 групах. Максим Фещенко отримує приз як переможець. Я з ним зв'яжуся та скажу, що це буде за приз від комісії цифрового автоспорту. А я вам ще раз всім дуже дякую, вітаю вас зі святом. І нагадую, що завтра о 20-й годині ми всіх вас чекаємо на нашому каналі і ми будемо дивитися перегони iRacing. Станом на сьогодні в нас зареєстрована 21 країна. Я думаю, це будуть дуже цікаві перегони. Отже, на добраніч, всім пока!
To Irina, to KYIV, to Georgi in the background running our stream, and also to Ivan, who's been running everything in the background to make sure that the broadcast comes through to you smoothly and well, and on the audio all balanced as well. But let me, Webo, say a happy Independence Day to the Ukraine. Let me say congratulations for 3 Ukrainian winners tonight in our 3 races. And also, please, Ukraine, keep fighting. The world supports you outside of the region. So please know that the world is following and supporting you as well as we possibly can. My name is Webo. I've been your commentator for 2 of tonight's races, but final words to KYIV, who's been working incredibly hard and has done all 3 races tonight. KYIV.
A lot of thanks, Webo. It's first time when I used my English skills, maybe from last year Race of Champions in Sweden, so it was February of 2022, so it was a long time ago. So a lot of thanks for your commentating. You're incredibly good. And of course, thanks God, so we have this Independence Day, so 32nd day, 32nd birthday of our country, and I'll hope that we will be a stronger, powerful and more interesting nation for all world. Тож, дякую, шановні пані та панове, за таку можливість. Що ж, сподіваємося, що надалі буде тільки краще. Ми вистоїмо і продовжимо змагатися, як це робили сьогодні наші хлопці на віртуальному гоночному треку. Так, розумію, що надалі заключні слова. Я передам слово Ірині Кравець. Пані Ірино, готова вступити?
Дякую, Павле, за такі дуже надихаючі слова. І я ще раз всіх вітаю, і разом ми переможемо. І в цей День Незалежності нам дуже приємно було побачити стільки друзів України разом на треку і таку запеклу боротьбу. І ще, як приймаюча сторона, нам дуже приємно, що саме українські гонщики змогли здобути перші місця у всіх 3 заїздах. Отже, друзі, я запрошую вас завтра доєднатися до трансляції 25 серпня о 20-й годині. Будь ласка, приходьте на нові перегони, ми будемо транслювати iRacing. Також з нами будуть наші неперевершені коментатори Павло та Вебо. А я вам всім бажаю спокійної та тихої ночі. І до завтра!